Things, people. Test the audio. It's not on that. Bring you greetings from the Dominican Republic. You understand? Um, this is a live Q&A. Live. Ask me anything. That sounds pretty decent. I want to talk about a couple things. Been living in left the country last year sometime. Shout out Karis in the chat. You understand? Um, first and foremost, first and foremost, this is I haven't made a video in so long, bruh. Shout out Petite Petite in the chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I never thought I would be back on YouTube. Uh, I thought I was done with this, to be honest with you. Deleted everything. I truly believed I was done with it. And honestly, YouTube, I think it's ran its course with me. Um, I'm only here because I have quality people in my life right now. I have high quality people in my life. We had a conversation this morning, and it's been ongoing. Matter of fact, let me read this chat, man. Before we even get to foolishness, let me read the chat, man. Um, Petite says, "Wow, it's nice to see you. Appreciate you. That's love. That's love." Tony Crockett in the chat. I'm using the YouTube interface, and I'm very unfamiliar with it. Um, when I tell y'all the struggle, that there's a struggle of trying to do things imperfectly, and this is the case currently with me. Um, Tony says, I still remember when I first watched the Air Force video, and when you got out as staff, now a staff, and I feel the stupidity of this corporation, and now want to get out. You know what? I don't blame you. There's nothing about the Air Force, at least currently, that I miss. Maybe outside the people. Um, yeah, the Air Force, the military. When I tell you, I've considered taking down all my Air Force content, even recently. Um, you see the ongoing wars in the Middle East, and it is very tough. If you ask me right now, do I recommend the military? I recommend the benefits, the assets that you might attain from such a venture. But when it comes to the actual corporation, the actual entity that is the U.S. government, I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm not sure there are better alternatives to the military currently, but yeah, it's different. It's different. What else y'all got down here, man? What else y'all got? 6 people in the chat. That's crazy. You understand? That's crazy. Hope you've been good. Hey, that's what I'm really here to talk about. I have nothing profound to talk about today. I haven't made a live stream, a video, anything of that nature in what feels like a year. It's probably been months. Um, but it's like a bike. You just gotta get back on. Um, and I plan on being quite vulnerable in this video or in this live stream. I plan on being quite vulnerable in terms of my thoughts and the gap in content. YouTube at large, traveling outside the country. I'm currently outside the country. I'm in the Dominican Republic currently. Um, passport, bro. Any questions you had, drop them in the chat. I will be answering every question. Um, that's really the only reason I'm here is just to talk to the people. I have nothing profound. I'm not trying to change your life. Um, it took me so long. It took me so long to just set this up and just press the buttons. And so we're we're focusing on quality of effort, of courage, if you will. So what else we got down here, man? He says you popped on my mind a few months ago, and I searched for you on IG. Hey, links in the description. You understand? Links in the description. If you have questions about the Air Force, if you just want to talk, hit me up in the DMs. I have more than enough time to allocate to other people, and so yeah, if you just want to talk, you got questions, you need somebody to bounce ideas off of, hit me up. Hit me up. Sheldon Riley in the chat. Nice to see you, brother. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm trying to figure out how to show the comments on the screen. I'm not sure if that's a thing in the YouTube interface. J Lil on the track. Yo, what's good with you? Hey, I used to watch your videos so much. You haven't posted in a while, but that's okay. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you. YouTube feels like a slot machine, along with, I take that back. I take that back. Because the way I was treating YouTube was I was kind of waiting on virality. I'm like, at some point, a video should hit 1 million views, and I was waiting for this influx of people to like. And for my current place, I don't value YouTube as much or the same way I used to. And so the love I'm experiencing now, which again, it's people, it's letters on a screen. Um, it's still palpable. It's still palpable. So I am truly grateful for 7 people just immediately popping up. Yo, that's love. That's love. JLo making stab. Look at y'all down here, Brett. Any message that? Well, it's only one, but I had a message from a youngin. Hit me up on YouTube. You're like, yo, I just made stab. I was like, yo, all my youngins growing up, man. Congrats, congrats. Sheldon Riley asks, is it better living out there? Absolutely, absolutely. The only reason I'll go back to the U.S. is to reset the clock on other countries. As it refers to tourism visas. I'm not looking for a long-term visa. It may be simple, but I'm assuming it's not, and that's the only reason I haven't pursued a long-term visa. I was in Colombia. I've been in Guatemala, Panama. Where else have I been? I think that's it. I think that's it. But yeah, managing Colombia is my favorite city. There's no competition in my mind. It, it's so perfect. The climate is spring temperatures year round. I can't imagine living anywhere else, at least for the time being. I'm going back next month with God's help. And yeah, I'm definitely managing Colombia is amazing. It's amazing. Tony says I was stationed in Germany first, the USSR go. Yo, it's facts. It's facts. Now, the value of the US dollar is not lost on me. Um, the ability to enjoy other countries having US dollars, I think that's kind of the point of the expat lifestyle or like experiencing other countries. But yeah, the US dollar currently is king. Let's see, the world reserve currency. We buy our oil and our energy typically using US dollars. Um, so that's definitely a factor in enjoying other countries. Being currently in the DR, a lot of things that you value are because you're able to buy them, a certain lifestyle, what have you. But yeah, well, we're definitely grateful. We're definitely grateful. What else we got, man? JLo in Japan? What? How y'all living down there, man? Japan's on my list. Tanya in the chat. Okay, so let me say something about Miss Tanya here. Just only maybe I can count on one hand. I'm balancing many different drinks, so just don't mind me. Tanya and my friend Karis are the only 2 people who have influenced me to come back to this platform in any way. In any way. The fact that there's any content on this channel to begin with right now is due to their encouragement. And so I definitely want to shout out Tanya. She's been, yeah, yeah. Encouragement is the only reason I'm on YouTube at all. At all. The fact that you can find me anywhere on the internet at large. I was on TikTok for a little bit, all that got taken down. And so yeah, I'm beyond grateful to Tanya and Paris. My anxiety is peak currently. So we're gonna manage that with deep breathing and what have you. What else we got in this chat, man? EJW says, start watching you before I joined. Just made staff. Bro, how are y'all making staff, man? I see y'all. Yo, there should be royalties for all the staff sergeants I put in the Air Force. You understand? Won't put on until next year though. Oh, you made it first time. Sound like congrats, man. My God. Words of advice, wisdom on how to be a good leader, or at least the kind of leader to not be. You got breathing under control. Good lord. Um, just listening. Obviously, wisdom is my favorite topic to study. Um, but listening, it's an underrated skill, very underrated skill. It's probably one of the first things you'll notice about someone who's patient is their ability to listen, a willingness to listen. So um, be slow to speak, be slow to speak. Just wisdom in general. There are certain traits that you'll notice are missing in other people, and it's not so much that you should embody those. It's kind of like having a father. People grow up in a certain household, and their father treats them a certain way. Like, when I grow up, I'm going to be the opposite. I'm not saying be the opposite, but a lot of the soft traits that humans tend to overlook, focus on those. Prioritize soft skills. That take you a lot further. Uh, I will be brief when it comes to answering questions because when it comes to my mind currently is about courage. Courage. Can I just do the live stream? It's going to be imperfect. Um, I am actively in this very moment managing my anxiety. Um, but yeah, the encouragement I'm getting from just the 10 of you currently watching, it means a lot. It means a lot. So um, yeah, I, I'll leave your answer there. Just prioritize listening, prioritize being self aware, um, be slow to speak, and just listen. Listen, study, prepare. Mm. I've been out of the Air Force for a minute since 2022, and so I would imagine it's changed more or less since then. And so my advice is, if as it relates to anything military related, will be succinct. And yeah, I'll be staying away from Air Force content probably for the foreseeable future. But wisdom, wisdom. What else we got, man? I saw a question about. I'm trying not to skip anything. Let me scroll back up a little bit. When I tell y'all the amount of energy it takes to do something imperfectly, perfectionism is a disease. Fight it. I promise you. There's nothing more difficult than trying to overcome in the moment. But that's what we're doing today. Sheldon asks, "What makes it? What makes living overseas better?" The cost of living. The dollar. When you do the exchange, let's say you're exchanging cash for pesos of any country, they're going to give you the same amount. But you'll notice when you start buying things with the pesos, it just costs less. It just costs less. So um, I'll say the climate, the people. For me, it's those two: the climate and the people. Bro, why can't I breathe? Good lord. The climate and the people. Customer service. You'll notice customer service almost immediately. It's hard to unsee that. It's very difficult to unsee the kindness of strangers. Of strangers. So yeah. What else we got? It seems so peaceful. I just got her like 2 weeks ago. I love it. Like three. Build is so cheap. The amount of food you can get for $10. Yeah, that's facts. That is facts. The amount of food you can get in a lot of these different countries, it's different. Tana says, "Thank you for coming back." No, thank you, man. And I'm not exactly sure I'll be here long when it comes to content. Um, but yeah, I had a friend this morning kind of ring me a new one as far as, "Bro, you have to do something." Um, and she didn't exactly say you have to fight the anxiety, but for me, that's what I'm doing because YouTube has changed my eyes. The internet at large has changed my eyes. I do not value it at all the same, and so this is indeed an act of courage. an act of courage. So Josh says you look like you've been hitting the 420. The irony is I've been sober for almost a month. Almost a month. I quit weed at the beginning of this month. I had a scare of sorts, trying what I thought was a familiar brand, and yeah, it was not the same. The ingredients were clearly different. So it may have even been mushrooms, to be honest with you. So yeah, I've been sober ever since then, and so and that also includes nicotine. And so yeah, we're fighting many demons here, but we're grateful for progress. We're grateful for progress, and I feel like all that matters at this point, at least for me, is just trying, just trying, just giving effort. Will not be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're not capable of perfection, but we're gonna try anyway. And so when it comes to porn addictions, which has also been an element of mine, um, we're clean of that for some time now, almost a month as well. And yeah, it's not so much that no, I'll put it cold turkey and then I'll never go back to it. It's a matter of being aware and knowing this has been hurting me. You know, the entire time I've been in Colombia, just constantly smoking. Like from the time I wake up, eyes not even fully open. You know it's bad when you're grabbing your vape before you grab your phone. That that is alarming for multiple reasons. So what else you got, man? Tony says as a stab already. Oh, he showing love to your boy. He giving some advice. Karis in the chat again. Appreciate you. You'd be surprised the value of having a quality woman in your life. And I say woman on purpose because women and men have been at odds for multiple topics, but namely more so relationships and how we engage with each other. But having one person encourage you is enough. But imagine having two. You know, encouragement is so underrated, so underrated. So yeah, I'm forever grateful. Tony says, "No cat, Brad. I was inspired by your work ethic before I joined, and I wanted BTZ and to make staff early like you did, and I did. So I'm great. Yo, that's love, man. That's love. Wow." Tanya says, "Can you tell about how did you learn Spanish and what your level is right now?" Mi español es diferente. Yo practicar español todos mañana. Um, it's different. Spanish is not difficult, but in real time, listening is the hardest part. It's the hardest part. And by no means am I fluent by any means. My fluency is only in like ordering coffee, ordering food, sometimes getting a haircut. Um, yeah, you practice every day. You're immersed in it, and so you don't really have a choice whether or not you practice. You know, if you want to communicate on any level, you will practice Spanish. And so, and it's humbling. It's highly humbling when it comes to just being a 2-year old when it comes to talking to people. Um, so yeah, humility is it's a benefit in multiple ways. Um, yes, Spanish is not difficult whatsoever. It's easy. It's easier for me to speak it than to listen to it, especially with the velocity that a lot of them speak with. Mexican Spanish seems to be quite understandable on a level that is quite noticeable. It's easier to understand than other countries that speak it. So, and of course, there's different dialects and it's a whole thing. But we're gonna leave it at that. Kalo says also 90% have also 90% of people have been very pleasant. Side note: staff release was 33%. That's how a lot of us got their test scores. Thomas said, "Hey, it don't matter, man. I don't care if they was letting 50% of people get through. Take credit for that, jump. Take credit for that." Counter says, but the worst, especially with Counter says, we love you, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This stream might in the next 2 minutes. So if you have a question, please drop it down because again, perfection for me would be like I'm gonna do an hour-long stream. It's gonna be the most organized. I'm gonna start off with a speech. It's gonna lead into Q&A, and then I'm gonna balance somehow all these things. I'm not doing any of that. I pressed the button today. I'm not even worried about tomorrow's stream if there will be one. My goal today is to press the button. Press the button. So we'll go from there. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. PJ says being OS has been really helpful. Appreciate the difference. Why am I struggling to read this, bro? Why are we making things difficult? Good lord. From different cultures doesn't always mean one group has it more figured out than another, but the different perspectives is so useful. That's facts. That's facts. But the currency is broken. Is one of the first things I noticed is that the different countries and the quality of living. You have third world countries, developing countries, first world countries. It's the money. The money's broken. Shout out Bitcoin. Shout out Bitcoin. If you're not tapped in with Bitcoin, what are you doing? What are you doing? Study Bitcoin. Study Bitcoin. Um, I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm saying study. And once you understand it, you'll buy it. So, but yeah, the money's broken. You'll notice just a lot of the things that are different outside the U.S. has nothing to do with the U.S.'s supremacy. No, it's that we have the world reserve currency. It's the most valuable, currency to purchase things in fiat. So, any advice for anyone looking to go overseas? Any advice for anyone to go overseas? I'm trying not to project my own mind on other people. Trying to think of how to best answer this question. You'll learn as you go. Well, one of the things I constantly tell myself is that you can always buy a ticket home. So maybe the best advice is make sure you have enough money to buy a ticket home. No matter what goes wrong in other countries outside of maybe murder, death, just realizing you can always come back. Right now, no matter how bad things get overseas, you can always just hop on a plane. In my case, Spirit, you'll be back in the US in a couple hours. So there's nothing you can't handle overseas because the US prepares you for most of it. The military prepared me for most of it. You'd be surprised how well prepared you'll be once you get out here. There are some things that will be completely different. Um, there will be some things that you'll forget, you overlook, like reading your passport, seeing how many days you get in a certain country. ChatGPT, Google, they're accurate in terms of law, in terms of statutes, but not accurate in terms of people because you'll go through customs and you'll think you have a certain amount of days and it won't be the same. And you'll be like, well, Google said I have 90 days and well, I gave you 60 days. And so you have to be mindful of minor details like that. And again, those are nuances that you may not be clued in on when it comes to knowing to ask or knowing to look for it. But yeah, you can always buy to go. That's probably the best message that is instructive. Is that no matter how bad things get, use wisdom. Use wisdom. You can always buy ticket home. Also, you'll notice growth in yourself when it comes to temptation, when it comes to the drugs that people will offer you. You'll have to say no a lot. You have to say no a lot. People will know you're American. People will know that you're American. So just beware that people in the US may not see you as prey, but people outside the US, when it comes to taking advantage of an opportunity to come up financially, beware that some people view you as prey. And so it takes wisdom. Certain environments you should not be in. Strip club, um, bars, clubs. Just be mindful. Be mindful that not everyone is there to just have fun. Some people are there to come up. So, Brad, this anxiety, I won't have it in this case. I need to take my vitamin D. I just read up, take my vitamin D there. But yeah, traveling is a lot easier than a lot of people think it is. It's much easier. There are 5'2" white girls traveling alone. Why can't you make it? That's something I had to tell myself. So, yeah, it's not as complicated as you think it is. It does take some planning, logistics, um, foresight, foresight, money management, money safety, offset. Uh, Make sure that you understand where you're at. Certain neighborhoods are just dangerous. Some neighborhoods aren't. Just stay in the areas that aren't dangerous. Simple things like that. So 5,000 IUs. Take a little vitamin D. That's not a sponsored segment, but if you're black, if you're melanated, you should be deep in some vitamin D. Pause. 9 people watching. That's crazy. That's crazy. I appreciate y'all. What else we got? Tony asks, what country do you want to travel to that you haven't been yet? That list is endless, you understand? But atop the list, I want to run through Dubai one more time. Um, from my current place. It's different to be deployed in the region and then go to Dubai versus being able to live there, which is what I've been doing. It's called slow traveling or slow living. I tend to spend like a month in a given place, and allows me to truly be immersed in the culture and the locals going on, or the locals going on rather. Ah, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Amsterdam. Amsterdam was only on the list because of weed. And full disclosure, I love weed. Full disclosure, I absolutely love that chemical cocktail. Unfortunately, it has diminished returns and it hurts your ambition, hurts my ambition. And so, what else? Where else do I want to go? You can go anywhere, Ray. Where do you want to go? Monaco, Switzerland. I will pretty much go anywhere that has a level of cleanliness available. I would not be going to any countries that are down and out, war zones. I'm in Dominican Republic. Haiti's right next door. I would love to go to Haiti, but I asked a taxi driver. He was like, "Nah, bro, don't do it." I'm like, "All right." Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's that simple. So, uh, of course, the internet tends to have all these different, don't go here because they're racist. I'm like, I don't know about that. I always thought Medellin would be the most dangerous place in the world. I was expecting the cartels to meet you at the gate and just help you with your luggage and like, we'll take this and just leave this with us. But it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. The dangerous parts of Medellin are dangerous, but the safe parts are safe. And that goes for the whole country. Colombia is my favorite country I've ever been to, and it's not for the reasons you might think. Passport bros, and prostitution is offered to me almost daily in Colombia, but you say no. You say no. There's nothing about prostitution and that exchange that is safe, that is advisable, that is wise. Uh, no, no. And trust me, it's tempting because these women are not ugly. When I tell you, I believe Colombian women be atop the food chain when it comes to just organic beauty. Organic beauty. I don't think they have competition at all. But no, I value my life a little bit more than I value sex. I value, health and wealth long term more than temporary pleasure. You know. But yeah, that was a great question. Where else I want to go? I need to get my breathing under control. Jamaica, Bahamas. And I do understand a lot of these countries will have a lot of overlap in terms of being similar. But yeah, honestly, I'll probably go anywhere, anywhere. India is a struggle conceptually. I'm like, when I go through countless videos of trying to find like what's the best city, the cleanest city, the most organized city, I can't find content. So India might not make it, but with the emergence of Bitcoin and the ability to impact local structures and architecture and government when it comes to currency, Bitcoin is going to change the landscape of a lot of different countries, which is going to open tourism and a lot of different opportunities financially for a lot of these countries. And so at some point I'll probably make it to every country. I'm at 4.6% of the world currently with respect to Antarctica and life beyond the wall and what have you. So that's a good question. I'm gonna ask as many. I will answer as many questions as you guys ask, and then I will depart peacefully and kindly. Hmm, I got lost. Tony asks, "What is your favorite country to live in and why?" So far, it's Colombia. When I tell you spring temperatures year round, it's seductive. I can't unsee that. Right now in the Dominican Republic, it's like 80, 85 degrees. I can't do it, man. It's too hot. I gotta wait till 5. I'm probably gonna work out this evening. Um, there's a park that is beautiful. Beautiful park right in the middle of Santo Domingo. And yeah, they have a little outdoor gym. I'm going there this afternoon. And yeah, trying to work out in the middle of the day, trying to go outside in general. It's too much. It's too much. So, but yeah, Colombia, Medellin, Colombia specifically, but Colombia in general, from Cartagena to Santa Marta to Barranquilla to Padea to Salento, Bogota's on my list to go to as well. Cali, um, Colombia so far was perfect. Was perfect. Sheldon says, "I'm proud of you, man. The first step is the best step. Stop talking about it and do it." That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. There's been and I plan on talking about this at some point when it comes to, and actually I saw a question that kind of referred to it, so I'll reference that later. Yeah, it's facts. Sometimes the solution that we're looking for is simple, and of course, people like myself, it has to be profound and complex. No, sometimes it's just pressing a button. Just pressing a button. I own no more cameras. I used to, obviously you guys knew I used to have two of every type of camera. I'm not using my phone and my laptop. Simple. Some AirPods for audio. I'll listen to this back and see how it sounds. But yeah, I'm just kind of over the overindulgence of stuff. The overindulgence of stuff. I currently live out of a single duffel bag, and it's made my life so simple. So simple. Now there are things that I would love to have with me, like a MIDI board or things of that nature. But yeah, I'm grateful. Karis asks, "Are you excited about your future 5 years from now?" I am. I am because Bitcoin's going up in price. You understand? Ethereum's going to be going up in price. You understand? Um, one thing I do know about this world is that you cannot make wise decisions consistently and not benefit. I'm proof of it. I'm proof of it. You guys constantly heard me talk about like, yo, one day I'm gonna wake up on a Monday morning and have nowhere to be and nothing to do, and you know, I'm not wearing no uniform, wearing what I want, facial hair, what have you, get a haircut. I'm highly encouraged about my future. Highly encouraged. Um, Sometimes the wisdom that you do now, you don't really realize how expansive a single decision can be and how impactful. If I go outside and just talk crazy to the wrong person, you don't realize a single decision can change everything. And so, That goes the same for positive decisions as well, and wise decision making. What else we got? Why is my mouse performing in this way? Behave, I say. Just saw you went live and was glad to hear your voice and know you're doing well, my brother. Take care. Hope to see you on here again soon. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for real. Tony says he's replying to Sheldon saying, for overseas, I'd say be open to new perspectives and cultures. That is key because there are a lot of things I've noticed in Colombia. I don't think Colombia was affected by COVID spacing, the whole 6 foot thing. They will walk right up, like while you're checking out, they will walk up right next to you, rub arms with you, like just there's no space. Same thing here in the DR. The lack of they'll just get right next to you. And at times I'll feel my anger rising. I'm like, "Bruh, I'm about to box out, you understand? Like my elbow, like bruh, give me some space." But then you realize it's just cultural. It's different. The sidewalk is probably my worst. I struggle with while walking on sidewalks because in Colombia they don't have like a mindset for like I'll walk on the left side, walk on the right. They walk that way, and they'll bump into you, and it's not malicious. But my nervous system is not tuned for people just walking into me, and so a lot of things like that, small nuances that you know you have to experience. But at times I have to control. I'm like, Brad, relax, relax, Brad. You're in their country. You're in their country, and so this is how they walk on the sidewalk. Driving is horrible. It's horrible. Here in the DR, it's horrible. Like stop signs, stop lights, they're all suggestions. They consider whether or not, it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, a lot of nuances like that you'll notice almost immediately. Tony asks, what is your fitness routine? Besides vitamin D, you take any other vitamins? My fitness routine currently is compound movements consistently over time. Uh, when I was in Colombia, so SmartFit, well, if you're traveling Central or South America, SmartFit is the Planet Fitness equivalent. Much cheaper as well, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere across Central America, South America. It's here as well in the DR. SmartFit's a great gym, a great gym. But I prioritize compound movements. Compound movements. OHPs, bench press, bent over rows, you know, standing, holding a barbell, squats, deadlifts, pull ups, and dips. And so keeping it simple and consistent. Simple as that. Supplements, if you consider coffee or energy drinks a supplement, my caffeine is the one constant drug that I've yet to consider whether or not I should quit. Caffeine is a mainstay as far as I'm concerned, but vitamin D is the only thing I take consistent. Oh, and salt. Salt. I take pink Himalaya salt. Again, this is not sponsored, but if anybody's watching, stop playing with me. Um, salt is. I noticed the effects of not having electrolytes. And sometimes the most efficient way to get electrolytes in is not to go buy a Gatorade with ton of sugar or sugar-free Gatorade. Just to take some salt, salt my scrambled eggs, salt my meat, pause. But yeah, electrolytes and vitamin D are the two things that are the most consistent in my life across continents, and of course it's everywhere. So Sheldon says, post about your new experience, advice, tips, tricks, laws to be aware of. I should do that. I should do that. Um, Apparently Uber is illegal in Colombia, but it says it says used as taxis. It's just as normal. Um, but you'll notice a lot of the Colombians will ask you to sit in the front seat instead of the back seat for that very reason. They just don't want to be accused of driving Uber. But one thing you will notice, especially in Colombia, is that the cops are relaxed. The cops are relaxed. Nothing close to American cops. Like the fear that a lot of black people walk around in America with, and like, yo, just be. You gotta keep your distance and follow rules and traffic laws and all these things. It's completely different world. Completely different world. Yeah, I'll probably get into topics like that maybe in the future. I don't want to make any promises because knowing me, it's hard enough just coming on here to begin with. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. What else we got? Tony says he's been to Amsterdam 3 times. Say less. Say less. I'm gonna have to pull up. I don't know if the temptation. I don't know if I can handle that, but we'll see. Maximilian says, "Yo, it's been. Hey, what's good, my guy? Maximilian, I check your channel every month to see how you've been. I, I struggle sometimes to understand that people actually value my opinion on stuff or just my content in general. I am grateful. I'm grateful. Mike, Michael Beasley said, nigga, I can't see me. A tiger doesn't give a fuck about its own stripes. Like sometimes it's hard to see yourself the way other people see you. So to the people that offer encouraging words, trust me, I am very grateful. Thank you, thank you." Paranormal says very dangerous right now. I don't know what are you talking about. Everywhere I've been has been peaceful. Everywhere I've been has been peaceful. I ain't been trying to. Now, I am me though. I am me. I don't exactly give people opportunity to catch me lacking. Um, so it's very possible that a lot of areas could be dangerous, and I just, like, hey, if you come get me, you have to earn it. You will have to earn it because I'm not going down easily. Trust me on that. You want my passport? I'm gonna make you go to an embassy and stand in line. A DMV equivalent. I promise you, you will have to earn every bit of it. You want my phone, my laptop, my wallet? All right, man. Good luck. Good luck. Absent from the body is present with the Lord. I don't mind. I have no issue with dying. None. Life is amazing, but yeah, no. Mm. I pray the Lord doesn't test me on that. Sheldon says, "How do you know what places are safe and are not safe?" Personally, it's a matter of architecture. There's certain areas, if it doesn't look like a normal building, like favelas, if it looks like the hood, it is the hood. And I'm not saying the people are out to get you, but the likelihood of it happening only occurs in certain neighborhoods. Now, tourists tend to be in certain areas, so if there were an area that would be prime real estate for a criminal, it would be where the most money is, which would be around the tourists. And so I'm not sure. I might be the wrong person to ask. One of the benefits of being a big black man is that stereotypes precede you. And so if anyone were to be attacked, it's kind of like a lion. The lion's probably not going for the bull moose. Well, that's probably a bad analogy due to geographic restrictions, what have you. Yeah, the weakest prey gets attacked. No, perceivably, the young, the weak, the sickly gets attacked. And so appearing a certain way, carrying yourself a certain way, certain environments, it's just a higher likelihood of getting got. If you go into a bar at 10 o'clock at night, midnight, you're increasing the likelihood of getting got. If you're at a coffee shop at 9 a.m., it's still it could happen, but it's probably not going to. So just using wisdom, using wisdom. There's certain places you should not be in ever. There's no you have no use for ATM after 9 p.m. For what? For what? Go to bed. Go home. Things like that. Just wisdom. Wisdom. I'm not saying don't have fun, but yeah, use wisdom. What else we got? My breathing is unacceptable. Sheldon Riley says, "Tell me about Bitcoin." I will not do any such thing. At least not in this stream. Not in this stream. Um, I would recommend you to Michael Saylor. Go watch 10 at minimum. of 10 Michael Saylor interviews, 10, they're each about hour and a half, 2 hours long. Go watch 10, start to finish, and you should understand Bitcoin. It's a solution to inflation. It's the solution to inflation. It's one of the only solutions to inflation. 1971, we left the gold standard. Look at me explaining it. 1971, we left the gold standard under President Nixon. Our dollar's not backed by anything. It was backed by gold, but now it's just a floating currency. The Federal Reserve prints at will. It's a digital button. Print, print. That means your work and your time, your effort, the time you spend at work, it's valued at a certain dollar amount. Every time they print money, your time and your effort is devalued. It's devalued. If you made $1 million and you put it in a bank account and you just left it, if you came back 10 years from now, that $1 million will be like 900,000. Just throwing out numbers, but it would degrade over time. It doesn't retain its value and it doesn't appreciate. That's why we buy assets. Assets appreciate in value. Liabilities decrease in value. There is no neutral, like it just stays at its own value. No, it's either appreciating or depreciating. And so Bitcoin is a currency that's not ran by anyone. It lives in cyberspace. It's ran by a protocol. A protocol. It's protected by proof of work cryptography, by decentralized machines all around the world. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you got to watch the interviews. Watch the interviews. Ask ChatGPT, give me analogies for Bitcoin. Explain it using the Bible. Explain it using sports. Explain it using makeup. Ask ChatGPT to explain it using, uh, analogies that you will understand. But yeah, Bitcoin is the new economy. The new economy. It's the equivalent of buying Fang, Facebook, Apple, Tesla. It's the equivalent of buying a high tech stock in its early stages, you know, on the IPO level. And so, not many people know about it. That's the point. That's the point. Not many people know about it because they're distracted. If you saw my screen time on TikTok, yeah, a lot of people are distracted, especially if they can be distracted. A lot of people are distracted. But Bitcoin, yeah, it's been in existence since 2009, and you could have bought it when it was worth $1. You could have bought it when it was worth pennies. Now it's worth 115,000. It's fluctuated. It's highly volatile. Don't confuse volatility with risk. It's a whole thing. I'm surprised I'm even talking about this much. I'm not telling you to buy it at all. I'm not telling you to buy it, but one day you will buy it. One day you will buy it because it will be the new best thing. Banks are already adopting it. There's a lot of this last thing I'll say about it. If you look at the House and the Senate, and you look at a lot of the laws surrounding crypto at large, they're passing currently under this administration. You don't want to find out 10 years later that Ray told you about it. That Ray told you about it, and you just, "Mm, all right, yeah." So yeah, study. Jack Mallers is another name. Jack Mallers, Michael Saylor. Watch any interview they do. Any interview you see their face, Jack Mallers or Michael Saylor. Watch the interview. Michael Strat Micro Strategy is actually the old name. The new public company is Strategy. They're the leading company when it comes to holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. It's their treasury asset. Again, a lot of these terms may just be a lot, but yeah, go study it. Go study it. So, and what do I invest in? I invest in Bitcoin. I invest in Bitcoin. I have other small little pools of money that I port like Ethereum and XRP, Cardano. But again, research. A lot of my investments are speculative. It's almost borderline gambling. Gambling. What you'll notice is that there's a lack of counterparty risk when it comes to a lot of these other cryptos. But the issue is, and this is what's been drawn up currently in Congress and the Senate, is the difference between a commodity, which is Bitcoin, a commodity, beans, land, soy, uh, corn, commodities, things that people can tell you to invest in, and they have no reasonable reason to benefit outside of them owning it as well. Like if I own corn and you buy corn, unless you bought it from me, I don't exactly benefit from you buying corn, but you will benefit from buying corn. So Bitcoin is decentralized, where no matter how much I own of it, I believe Strategy owns around 3% of the Bitcoin network. That's billions and billions of dollars. They're borrowing money to buy Bitcoin. Why am I on this tangent, man? I I also noticed that I felt my anxiety dropped talking about Bitcoin. That's instructive. That's instructive. Uh, Almost forgot I had anxiety just talking about something I want to talk about. Um, I might as well stay here a little longer. But yeah, I invest in Bitcoin almost entirely. They constantly talk about you should be diversified. Don't go all in on one stock. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. I'm definitely not doing that. But if you find a winner and you have proper conviction, yeah. Jonas says, I love how you're grown and experienced. Thank you, man. Thank you. Anti-fragile experience, but mind you, you don't. All experience isn't good for you. What's it like to see the inside of a Colombian jail? I don't know. No clue. Don't care to know. It's none of my business. But yeah, it'll be a shame if I came back here with less knowledge than I left with. Um, and I definitely have way more knowledge than when I first left YouTube. So yeah, I highly encourage you to go study Bitcoin. It'll be the number one regret of your life. I'll say this: I had quite a bit of Bitcoin right before Trump took office, and I sold it to buy solar panels and EcoFlow batteries. One of the most expensive mistakes I've ever made. I bought in at 69,000. IBIT, IBIT, BlackRock's Bitcoin spot ETF. I bought that the day it came out back in January of 2024. I owned shares of that ETF the day it came out. The very like 9 a.m. I was there waiting for 9:30 to come around. And I sold that whole, right? It's more than doubled in price. And again, that's the purpose of discipline, is to realize, and also realizing the difference between investing and gambling. Investing and gambling, the difference is time. The difference is time, and investing it. If you truly if you truly understood what Bitcoin was, you will buy it and never sell it ever, ever. And yeah, sometimes you gotta make those mistakes yourself to realize, yeah, there's still more to learn. So to ask, any advice on what to eat overseas because FDA standards are not the same as the US, and what do you do for medical emergencies? These are very good questions, Shona. I appreciate you. I feel my juices flowing, if you will. One thing you'll notice, more specifically about the junk food overseas, is that it doesn't taste like junk food in the US. The US is definitely putting something in your food. The US is definitely putting something, whether it's MSG, um, or just excess amounts of sugar. Who knows? Who knows? Drugs of any kind. But you will notice that if you go to Pizza Hut in Colombia, that pizza does not taste like American pizza. It's almost nasty. It's just healthier. As you can see, you will lose a ton of weight living overseas, just eating local produce, local foods. It's much cheaper, so the excuse of not eating healthy overseas, it's not a thing. Um, FDA, I'm not exactly sure is on your side. I'm not exactly sure the FDA is on your side. Um, you might have to eat it yourself. You hear a lot of people like going to Italy eating a ton of pasta and spaghetti, all these things. I'm eating all these carbs from losing weight. I don't know, brother. There's something the U.S. is doing, that's borderline poison. It's poisonous. It's hurting you. And so yeah, it's even the junk food overseas tastes healthy. And so that's highly instructive. When it comes to medical emergency, I don't know. I try to avoid those type of experiences. I'm grateful. I don't have an exact answer for you in that area. I will say this: in Guatemala, I caught strep throat in Guatemala, and it definitely changed the way I experienced Guatemala. I have to go back to redo it. Um, but I was able to buy antibiotics from a storefront, from a pharmacy. There's gates, obviously, to protect the merchandise, what have you. But I just walked up, and in my broken Spanish, I'm like, get some antibiotics. And within 5 to 10 minutes, I had antibiotics. I ain't talked to no doctor. I ain't get no prescription. It costs pennies on the dollar compared to what it probably would have cost in the U.S. Especially not having insurance. And so yeah, I would imagine it's just cheaper. I have I have no opinion on the quality, but I would imagine it would be comparable because we're all working on humans. The doctors here work on humans. The doctors there work on humans, and so I would imagine that it's something comparable to the U.S. in terms of quality. But the cost you will notice immediately. It's not the same. It's not the same. It has a lot to do with the currency, but also has more so to do with that. I would imagine that the health industry over here is nothing comparable to the companies pumping out, GLP-1s, Ozempic and things of that ilk. So yeah, it would definitely be cheaper. I would imagine the quality is going to be comparable. Um, but yeah, I'm grateful I don't have any experiences in that area to speak more specifically. What else we got? Sheldon has blessed me thoroughly with this line of questioning. Plan, learn new things overseas, go live, and have a conversation. I appreciate you, man. Think about homesteading in the future. I too have enjoyed that line of thinking as far as, especially with my obsession with solar panels and batteries, and it's probably the least dense form of energy. Solar energy, hydro, wind. It's just the least dense. Wind probably a little bit more so a better choice, but yeah, I think often about planting my own foods, raising chickens. Because I mostly eat eggs. Um, I mostly eat carnivore diet, keto diet, and it's much easier overseas, obviously for cost reasons. But yeah, I have someone currently, Karis, trying to force me to buy some land, and not force me, but highly encouraging, you know, putting down roots in that way in terms of real estate investment, what have you. And yeah, it's definitely something to consider as far as homesteading and I don't know. It's a beautiful thought. Beautiful thought. I would love to have my own pond, stocking fish, so I can just fish in a overpopulated lake, full of largemouth bass and smallmouth and pike and muskie and walleye. Also, the DR doesn't, as far as I know, and according to ChatGPT, you don't need a fishing license in the DR. So if you're coming here and you got some time on your hands, you want to go fishing, I don't believe you need a fishing license. Now, I think if you take a charter boat, then the captain is required to have paperwork. But as far as you're concerned, tourist, I don't believe we are required to have a fishing license. So if you're a fisherman, if you enjoy angling, yeah, something to look into. What else we got? Sheldon says, open-ended question. Is the key to a great what is the key to a great conversation? Plus, you're not thinking about your anxiety, also have anxiety. Oh, open-ended questions are the key to a great conversation. I would be inclined to agree, especially when it comes to follow-up questions and just having an interest in what someone's talking about. Yeah, that's facts. Tony says, part 1000 went, I need to get out the US. When I came back to the States, the food didn't sit well. Yeah, there's something in the food, man. I don't know what they doing. Somebody's lying. We got this billion-dollar industry and FDA, and like we're on your side. We're checking the foods for all this stuff. It's not true. It's not true. There's a lot to be said about insulin and the ingestion of sugar in high amounts and how everything has sugar. Everything has sugar. The spaghetti, the ketchup, the mustard, everything has sugar in it. Well, sugar spikes your insulin. I constantly Constantly see people talking on, especially on TikTok, like I'm trying to lose weight and I'm walking and I'm doing all these things, but then they go eat sugar, high amounts of carbs. Like a lot of people fail to realize that carbs and fats are energy sources. They're energy sources. By eating both, your body's going to choose sugar because it's ingested more quickly into the bloodstream. So it's prioritized. Well, where does the fat go? It can't be used. You're not burning it. You're not in keto. No, you're not burning ketones as fuel for your brain and the rest of your body. So yeah, your body's going to pursue glucose first, sugar first. And so by eating both fats and carbs, you're just storing one or the other. You're storing all the fat that you eat. And so in order to lose fat, you have to burn fat for energy. That's why it's there. That's why you store it. Is that when you need it, it's there. You can't store sugar. And if you do store sugar, what do you get? Diabetes. Diabetes, gangrene, it's the storage of sugar in the body when you're supposed to be burning it. When you burn it, it's stored in your muscles as glycogen. That's why you get a pump after eating sugar. It goes straight to your muscles. But when you're eating sugar constantly and your glycogen gets full, your muscles are full, where does it go? It sits in your body and becomes diabetes. And insulin constantly spiking, yeah, you're not gonna when your insulin's low, you burn fat. When your insulin's high, you store it. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. But yeah, sugar is the issue. Insulin, insulin. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Insulin is the anabolic hormone. It's the storage of whatever you're eating. It's the whole thing. Shoulders out here, show love to the fella. Hey, I see you, man. I see you. I've noticed I've done the same thing. Like I'll go on TikTok and I see people going live, and it'd be like one or two people in there, or like zero people, and I'll go in there and hit them with a line of questioning. And then, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, you gotta show love to people. They're trying. They're trying. True wealth is an irreplaceable assets like land. Well, if you've ever been to Dubai or just watch videos online, you'll realize that they're making new land. Um, it costs a lot of money, but you can make more land. You don't see it often, but you can make more land. So land is not exactly the best asset. It is a great asset when it comes to inflation and the value, but you realize property taxes are designed to take the land back over time. So if I bought an acre of land in the middle of nowhere, I'm still getting taxed on it. You can't buy land outright and just own it the rest of your life. You can with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital gold. If I bought a chain, this is Amazon, by the way. This is another rule of thumb. Why are you wearing real jewelry out in public? If somebody came and tried to rob me for this, take it, man. I'll have another one in 2 days. Amazon, bless your boy. Um, yeah, if you buy gold, you own it. It's yours. It used to be illegal to buy gold because it was a currency, so you weren't allowed to own over a certain amount of gold. But once they did away with that law, now you can own gold, obviously. But if I tried to buy buy something with this, I'm like, all right, there's somebody in Africa trying to sell a good or a service. I'm going to buy it with gold. How you gonna give it to them? You can't. So I mean, you can, but there's limits and there's tariffs. Like there's time. Bitcoin is digital gold, meaning I can buy something from anyone in the world. No one can stop me. No government can stop Bitcoin. It's decentralized. It's not centered in. It's not on U.S. soil. It's on all soil. There's people in Kenya using it. It's everywhere. All you need is an internet connection and a cold wallet or a hot wallet. Interesting. My thoughts on the direction of the USA. I need to cash up Sheldon. You made this enjoyable. Thank you. My thoughts on the direction of the USA. Um, the US is headed in the direction that every other country is already in a lot of cases, especially like the third world, developing countries. The US is essentially headed that direction when it comes to inflation. A lot of the stress and the depression and the anxiety and a lot of the elements of today's society, the declining birth rate, is due to inflation. If you can't afford it, you won't do it. And so, um, as long as we're printing currency, our dollar is being devalued. Now, it's being devalued at a slower rate and velocity than every other currency, but it's still being devalued. And a lot of people are feeling it. When you can't afford basic, groceries, basic utilities, you can't afford rent. It's a mixture of greed and inflation. The people that don't suffer under inflation are people that own assets because the money accumulates all in the same places. Where the S&P 500, and honestly, only like the top seven companies in the S&P 500 benefit the most. Nvidia's, the Facebooks, the Apples, the Googles, they benefit from inflation the most. But the S&P 500 is typically where everyone's money kind of pools at the end of the day because those are the pillars of society. The Johnson and Johnson companies, the WalMarts, the Targets, well, not so much Target, but their current issues with DI and the like. Um, but yeah, the U.S. is on borrowed time. The U.S. has been on borrowed time ever since they stole land from people that were already here. And I'm trying to avoid this tangent. But yeah, African Americans aren't African. We're native. We were already here. We are North Americans. And so that's a whole thing. Go enjoy that rabbit hole when you get some time. But yeah, this is stolen land. And you can tell by the people who can't go outside for any amount of time without burning. Yeah, it's not overcast here. You know where it is overcast? In the UK, man. How much sunscreen do you think gets sold in the UK? How many people do you think apply sunscreen before they leave their homes in the UK? There's a correlation there. I'm not saying it's causation, but if you can't go sit in the sun, how do you think your people would have lasted over the generations? It's too much. Too much. But yeah, the US, it's a great country in terms of, I can't even say that, honestly. I'm grateful for the US. I'm definitely grateful for the US because it gave me a lot of opportunities I currently have. And so, by no means can I just erase all of the American ingenuity and the people that are currently here. They weren't there back in the day when people were being enslaved and murdered and raped and all these things. I can't blame people that are here today and now. But yeah, people suffered for us to have iPhones. People died. People were beaten and raped and enslaved over the luxuries that we currently enjoy. And so it's a mixture. But yeah, the US, I don't know. Bitcoin is going to change a lot. It already has. A lot of people are just they have no clue. But yeah, the world is going to change when the money changes, and you'll notice. I've met so many highly intelligent people in South America. People from Brazil, engineers everywhere. I've never met so many engineers than when I was in Colombia. They're everywhere. Now, of course, it has a lot to do with areas that I frequent. It attracts a certain type of person. But you will notice that they are no different than us. They speak a different language. They have different customs, and they tend to value family more. But when it comes to just human ingenuity and intellect, there's no difference between Americans and Colombians or Americans and Dominicans. The money's broken. The money's broken. So yeah, the U.S. is just on a downward slide only because of the money. The money's broken. And no matter what you label as, oh, Republicans are the problem, or inflation's the problem, or Democrats are the problem, the money's the problem. The money's the problem. So moving on. That's a good question. What are your thoughts on new military standards, dressing appearance? I don't have one. As long as they doing their job and they dress right, dress. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that. New beard standards, baby hairs looking kind of suspect. Honestly, I don't care. Like, yeah, yeah, no opinion on that. Couple more questions and then we'll call it a day. I, I've, yeah. Where are you from originally? I'm from New York. I grew up in New York. I grew up on military bases, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, upstate New York, Fort Drum, New York. And so yeah, I've spent the majority of my life on military bases, both as a child and as an adult. And it's honestly one of the best environments you could possibly grow up on. It's diverse. It's hot. It's very safe. Very safe. Um, but yeah, military bases are slept on, man. Slept on. My son would have been fortunate to grow up on a military base, as I was. How are the wars going on affecting overseas? Um, you will notice that if people find out you're American, they tend to attribute all the sins of your country to you. And it doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it is a tangible and palpable experience. Um, I remember one German lady, and this has nothing to do with Germans because I've met amazing Germans while I've been overseas. Um, but I heard one uh, German lady say she hates Americans as I was walking past. And I was like, "Yo, what I do, man? What I do, man?" But I mean, if they hate Trump or if they hate your country, or it kind of trickles down a little bit. But other than that, it doesn't affect me at all. Living outside the U.S. and having all your content, your TikToks, your Reels, your YouTube videos be mostly American content, it makes America look like a reality drama. It's just always something. I've seen zero UFOs over here. No matter where I go, there are no UFOs. There are no weird sightings. It's just nothing. And I'm like, why is it that only the US gets to see UFOs and weird sightings of aircraft? And I'm like, yeah, well, which country has the most developed technology companies? It would be the US where you see all the fancy stuff. Now the question is, why don't you see it in Singapore and Tokyo's and Germany's and what have you? Well, America is always got to be doing something. What else we got? Tanya says, do you plan to return to live in the US in the future? Um, Possibly. The one thing I miss most about the US is the English. The English. It's music to my ears every time I hear it. Just to hear American accent, to hear American lingo and American rhetoric, you miss that. You miss that, especially when most people around you speak Spanish. You tend to miss the simple things. Yeah. So, at some point, I probably will. I'll be back in Florida at the end of the month for a couple of days, but then I'll be right back out of there. Right back out of there. But um, yeah, the U.S. is not bad when it comes to the people. It's just a lot of policies, which are made by people, government, which are individuals that make up the government and the citizens thereof. But um, yeah, I can't see myself completely being outside. I don't know. I don't know because I've only been 4.6% of the world's countries, so there's so much serendipity and novelties to discover that yeah, you might actually find out, that somewhere else is highly more preferable than where you are currently. So I'll definitely be looking into that at some point. But yeah, the U.S. is home. That's where my family lives. Is where a lot of my friends are. So it'll be definitely be something currently on the back burner because I currently don't miss the U.S. I just miss speaking English. Yeah, outside of that, yeah, there's no rush for me currently to get back to the U.S. and pay high prices for what? No, no. And lastly, Shadow says out here catching strays. Hey, it be like that, man. Sometimes you're the first African American, you're the first North American that people meet. Sometimes you're the first of your kind that people have met. People are from all around the world, and so they meet somebody. that they've never seen or met or spoken to. It's opportunity to kind of undo stereotypes. And like, yeah, we're not all you know shooting up schools and killing each other in the streets of Chicago, and yeah, we're not all putting people in cages, and no, it's not the case. And sometimes you're the example of that Americans can be different, and Americans can be empathetic, and yeah, it's a great opportunity to be ambassadors for your people. And so I enjoy being the first black person someone has ever met, and like, oh, I thought you would be completely different. I thought you would be, overwhelming or loud or obnoxious. I'm like, I can be, man. You see me on the court, you might find out. Uh, Imagine I was living right across the street from a basketball court. And so of course, I bought a little ball, went down there and blessed them a couple times. Just let them know. Um, just let them know. America is number one in basketball for a reason, man. Don't play. I see y'all out here, but no, don't do that. But yeah, it's been highly enjoyable. Just seeing how other people consider normal, and how they live their lives, and their common tendencies and what have you. So it's been instructive and eye opening in so many ways. Um, as I wrap up, Tanya says, "Thank you so much for the great information. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Sheldon, bro. I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you, no one's safe on this planet. I'm actually the first Isaiah to get buckets in South America. Um, at one point when I was in South America, I was the best basketball player on the continent, and it only changed because I left. And so it's unfortunate, but we'll be back to reestablish ourselves and the given hierarchy. One thing I will say is that my anxiety is almost zero currently. It's almost zero currently, and so it's just more evidence that action, doing the thing, especially the thing that you're afraid of. I mentioned I will be vulnerable in this video, so I'll say this: I was in a relationship and it failed, and in the process of that relationship failing, something within me, something comparable to confidence or my courage muscle, was degraded, and so a lot of things that I was doing, things that used to be so easy, like coming on YouTube and talking to a camera, used to be so easy. And since then, I've kind of the idea of talking to a camera kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It just seemed weird. I'm like, why are we talking to cameras, bro? I want to talk to people in real life. I want to go to a coffee shop. I want to sit in the same room, sit on a balcony, sit, in public space and talk to people. I don't want to talk to a camera. But you reach a point where doing nothing is just as bad as a bad decision, or doing nothing at all, or not trying on YouTube, or not trying to redevelop muscles that I used to have, quite a bit of confidence in. Um, it's been encouraging to just, especially in this process where I'm not gonna lie, seeing 10 people pop up, 10 people. I was expecting to come on here and just talk into the emptiness, into the vast emptiness, but to see the response, and it's not even about the response, because some people have to try and they don't get a response. Some people have to go and do the thing, and there's no applause, there's no encouragement, there's no feedback, there's no Sheldons, there's no Tanya's, Karis's, encouraging you as you try. um, but in this case, I am fortunate and grateful, um, even with the anxiety, because when I tell you my anxiety was spiking when I first started, and it's not anxiety as in terms of fearfulness, it's anxiety as in I can't breathe, like my body, like having your stomach full of butterflies, and like I can't get myself settled. I'm trying to deep breathe on a live stream. It's not like it's being edited as we speak. No, it's just whatever you say, it goes out. Whatever you present to people, it goes out. And so this has been highly encouraging when it comes to just trying, trying, doing it imperfectly. Um, yeah. And so I hope, to keep trying, keep trying. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna have no 4K camera, and then let me see if I get all the angles right. I'm like, the composition's okay. It's decent in this. I didn't have a haircut. I thought about going live yesterday. I didn't have a haircut. If you guys can see, a little bit of thinning on the corners, if not a lot of thinning. So, like, of course, getting a haircut would calm a lot of that anxiety. I'm like, all right, I'll go live, and I have a haircut so people don't see that Ray is thinning on the corners. One of the benefits of loneliness is that you just stop caring. And uh, I won't try to take credit and say, "Oh, I don't care enough, so I'm gonna go live." No, I was encouraged. I was encouraged indirectly. No one told me, "Right, just go live and just do it anyway and try." No, it was encouragement that was like, "Ray, just go do something. You can't do nothing all day. You can't let one person that you may or may not have dated for a short amount of time, like, try again, bro. Try again." And it was that encouragement that has me here. A hun- an hour and 20 minutes into a live stream. I was planning on doing like maybe a 10-minute talk, 20-minute talk max. So yeah, it's a testament to the right people, to kind people, to encouraging people that you get back up here and you try. And if you fail, if people see, if people see, and one of the hardest things to do is to be on TikTok or YouTube. People who are self-admittedly chopped or ugly, talking about their own struggles and being vulnerable. I have no plans of telling y'all to color my drawers and like, but this is what I went to the bathroom this morning and no, that's too much. But when it comes to trying in public and failing in public, you realize there's no consequences. There are no consequences. If you're trying in good faith, you're trying in wisdom, and you're doing the best you can. There are no consequences, none, none. And so, if I can encourage anyone else, as people have done for me, yeah, try, try. Courage is indeed a muscle, as I believe Sheldon put it. Yeah, Sheldon said, yeah, yeah. Courage is a muscle. I also say that with the decentralization of information, with AI, where no matter what question you have, there's an answer. It may be wrong, maybe inaccurate, but there's always an answer to a question. Courage is the new, it's the equivalent of Bitcoin. It's the new currency. And yeah, even people like myself who's been trying for years, I've made so many live streams. You can still get broken to a place where you have to rebuild yourself. You have to try again. You have to relearn how to be courageous, especially in areas that you've always been courageous in. YouTube used to be easy. I used to be excited to make videos, man, live streams and vlogs and all these things. And then all of a sudden it becomes something I'm like starting over in. Well, you're not really because, as Sheldon put it, yeah, it's muscle. You just gotta get back on the bike and try again. But yeah, shout out to Tanya, shout out to Sheldon, shout out to everyone who I want to keep trying to name names, but this wasn't so much about YouTube. It was about doing something that I have been overthinking on levels that is just for what, for what, and of course to see the response and to see people encourage me back. Yeah, I'm grateful. And so the least I can do is meet people halfway. The least I can do is if anyone watches it, if one person watches it, make it for them. Make it for them. And it's not. It's much more difficult than it is. No, obviously I'm here now, so of course the words can flow in terms of what I should do. But tomorrow, like especially when I turn the camera off and I turn all this off and I get back into bed and mind my business, I go to the gym this afternoon. Tomorrow comes. I'm like, what will I do tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know, but hopefully we will do the best we can um, with the time and the resources we currently have. We got more. Hey, as long as y'all keep answering stuff, I'll keep answering. I have nowhere to be for the current moment. Don't let someone ruin who you are and take away your great talents. Don't give them that power. Yep, that's fact. And Tanya would know. Tanya is um, a huge advocate for those who have been in dangerous or emotionally abusive or things of that ilk relationships, and she's coming on top as well, and she's been quite open about her struggles in that area and how she's overcame past relationships and what have you. So that's definitely encouraging. Gonna ask one last question: how are the barbershops over there? That's a great question. One of my favorite things, I probably should have thought about this. One of my favorite things about Colombia is that we all have the same hair. And so, the same here in the DR, they have the same hair as me. So I can walk into just about any barbershop, and what I do is show them a picture. It's much easier than trying to explain, 1.5 on top, keep the hairline natural. Your boy's is struggling, follically. Um, but yeah, just show them a picture. It's obviously worth a thousand words, and it's much more efficient. And yeah, quality work, quality work. Well, one of the first things you'll notice is that the men walking around here, their hair genetics are quality. They got the waves going, the fades, all that. You'll see dreads. You'll see every type of hair texture over here. Oftentimes, you'll mistake people for being from other countries, and they're Colombian or Dominican. Um, Quality genetics, and their hair is no exception there. So yeah, barbershops are not an issue, at least for Black people. Um, Not an issue there. If anything, you'll find more resources when it comes to services such as barbers and services of that ilk. What else we got? Yo, I will admit they got me in Guatemala. Guatemala is not the same as Colombia. They, they caught me lacking in Guatemala. I went to a guy, and by the time he got done with me, I left there bald. I said, "Bro, take it all off, all of it, all of it." And I mean, it was a nice little throwback to elementary school. And you get that number 21 on the wall, and like, hey, just cut it down low everywhere. Cut it down low. Ain't no fade, ain't none of that, ain't no lineup. Just cut it down to a one. Well, yeah, I was bald for a couple of weeks after that. And, honestly, it wasn't even bad. Like it felt refreshing, having no obstruction to the winds and what have you. What else we got, man? Andrew talking about your boy got skinny. Listen, man, we doing what we can out here. Like we trying our best, man. We When I left Alaska, it was ungodly the way I was looking, ungodly. Um, and then New Mexico, that's where I kind of discovered keto and carnivore, and really kind of indulged in that. We started seeing successes, and then Florida, it's fluctuating. Trying to eat right, but failing in a lot of ways. And then you get over to Colombia, and you realize, all right, this food is not the same, and you start seeing the weight just fall off. You start noticing correlations there. But yeah, I'm much more healthier than I was previously, especially making content. You start seeing the differences in your face and all these things. And honestly, I've been eating Little Caesars while I've been here in the DR. So I'm not even exactly at my peak that I was in Colombia. But yeah, I'm excited to go back to Colombia next month and really get back in my bag, get back to my morning walks, my morning workouts, all those things. Um, yeah, what else we got? Honey says I watch and rewatch, especially your shorts. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Down out here dropping bars, slim and trim like a bicycle rim. Interesting rhetoric. Interesting. Andrew says, I'd love to hear your thoughts more on women as Christian believer in modern day secular world. There's a reason I deleted all my relationship content. All of it. If and especially going back and watching a lot of the content, I'm like, yo, if I even allude to relationships, I'm deleting it. And I still have it. It's just privated. Um, but yeah, I'm the last person to point fingers at women when I have my own problems. I got my own problems. I got my own problems. I've noticed the more I heal, the more I mature, the more I study wisdom, the more I try in relationships, a lot more blame comes back to me. A lot more blame. All of my failed relationships are my fault. All of them. All of them. And the issue with like the red pill spaces, the relationship, content is that everyone has a solution in mind that involves someone else changing. And like if they would get their life together, man. No, it's not true. It's not true. So see, I'm currently in a place where I'm controlling me. And also, you'll notice while traveling to other countries is that all the women are different. They're different. They're different. The most beautiful woman in Colombia probably speaks Spanish, and so that's as toxic. Me trying to be in a relationship with someone I can't understand is just as toxic as two English speakers who are unwilling to sacrifice for one another. It's the same thing. Passport bros, they're buying prostitutes. You're not getting a relationship unless they speak your same language. All you're able to exchange is lust, and in this case, it's money for lust. So I'm sure they're not enjoying it, and you're not exactly getting a woman who loves you, who admires you, who wants to share her body with you. You're getting somebody who's basically exchanging friction for your currency. And so yeah, the issue is not a woman problem. It's a people problem. It's a human problem. And as a Christian, yeah, I mean, you go to church and you expect the women to be different. No, they're human. We put our pastors on pedestals. We put our first ladies. We put the women. We put men on pedestals. Oh, they're supposed to be like this. Ray's supposed to be like this. It's not true. It's not true. I wish. I wish it was women's fault. Just blame them for everything. But if they would just stop being modern, if they would stop doing all this foolishness and then running around, I'm like, bruh, for every woman that's a hoe, there's a hoe recipient. She's not hoeing by herself. For every baby mom, there's a father. It might be different fathers, but somebody's on that. Somebody's in there. So yeah, there's no singular solution in terms of all the women are wrong or all the men are wrong. It's focus on yourself, man. That's all you can do. That's the only result that you can control is how am I into a relationship? Am I being honest? Am I being vulnerable? Am I telling the truth? Am I giving them a chance to hurt me? And I've noticed that my relationships in general have improved, although I'm somewhat isolated, living in a foreign country, surrounded by no one that knows me. My relationships have improved across continents by working on me. A lot of people talk about I'm skinnier. Yeah, I was overweight. I was overweight. I need a haircut. Focus on me. Focus on me. And so, yeah, as a Christian, it's not going to get easier. The world is not designed for Christians to have it easy. It's a straight and narrow path for a reason. And trust me, if I could be a passport bro, if I could, just act a fool and do all manner of foolishness. Why is my camera playing, man? And see, this is what happens when you say I'm going to do something imperfectly. You have issues, and you just gotta fuck, bruh. But the relationship thing and like the back and forth and the gender wars, I've removed myself completely, all of it. I don't want no content up that talks about relationships. I'm not adding no fuel to the fire. I'm not adding my 2 cents in. Well, technically I am right now, but yeah, the solution is purple in a world of red and blue. The men, if we can just get high quality women, it's not true, bruh. It's not true. Men are ran by lust. Men are addicted to porn. Men are addicted to masturbation. We're addicted to self gratification. We we are addicted to drugs, distractions, attention. Women love makeup. They love the Shira Sevens of the world. Like a lot of women don't think that men watch Shira Seven. Bruh, if anyone was going to reverse engineer her content, it would be the men. Men have incentive to watch her just as much as women do. It's not going to work. Everyone's trying to manipulate the other person. I'm like, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. Eventually, you get got. Everyone thinks that they're the best in the world. You watch the NFL, you watch the NBA. Everyone gets dunked on. Everyone gets crossed. Everyone gets trucked. Everyone gets juked. Everyone gets Randy Mossed. Your day's coming. Everyone's gonna get pancaked. Your day is gonna come at some point, man. So humility is the advantage. Vulnerability is the advantage. Honesty is the advantage. Just tell the truth. It's gonna come out eventually anyway. It will come out eventually anyways. So it's better just be upfront and give people a chance to love you as you are. And one thing you'll notice that you will experience rejection, but you will also experience acceptance. Someone will value you as you are. Like my background is not blurry. It's not beautiful. It's not perfectly composed. But y'all still watched. I'm like, why have I been stressing over composition for all these years? Why do I have the most expensive camera? Bro, I just use my phone. People still watched, if not more so. So it's definitely encouraging to see that honesty is valuable in today's world. More specific, like all the fruits of the spirit are valuable. They're all utilities. They're all useful. And so, great question. What else we got? Green bean. What y'all talking about? What else we got? What are your thoughts on the red pill, blue pill, black pill, etc.? They all have a measure of truth. Kind of like rat poison. It's like 99% rat food, but that 1% of poison is all it takes. And they all have a measure of poison mixed in them because at the center of it is lust. At the center of all these different pills is manipulation. It's how can I get from this person? How do I take? How do I get them to just give to me as much as they can? How do I get them to just work and stress and sacrifice and give to me and satisfy me and touch me and make me feel it's all self-centered. It's all self-gratification. It's all selfish. And if you'll notice that some of your best relationships are the exchanging of value, the exchanging of value. And so, yeah, all the pills have a measure of truth. Like the black pill, yeah, looks do matter. Looks do matter. There's a reason why I'm getting a haircut and not just walking around looking crazy. Yeah, because looks do matter. I even notice how people treat me when I look rough versus when I look manicured. Right? I'm like I'm taking care of myself. I like being on the thinner side. I feel better, but also I look better. I look like I'm trying in the gym. I'm not saying that skinniness is good and thickness is bad. It's not true. But nobody wants anyone who's undisciplined. No one wants to be around that. And I've been guilty of that myself. Letting myself go. Like whoever's gonna love me for me. All right, bro. You're choosing from a slim group of people, a smaller percentage of the population, by making yourself into a niche. Like somebody gotta love me for being fat and overweight and unkept and my fingernails are dirty and I just run it. No, it's not true, bro. It's not true. People like things and they want things back. People want things back. Think about what the person you want desires from other people. So yeah, it's more so a matter of being willing to give. I mean, of course, you should have your own standards, and a lot of the different pills talk about standards and ratings and income and all these different things. Ultimately, people that are like overly invested in all these pills are trying to get something for nothing. Everyone wants a man who doesn't know they're handsome and rich. Oh, he's rich and handsome and tall and successful, but he has no idea that he's highly valued by the entire world. We're all trying to take advantage of people. Right? If I can just go to a third world country and find a 5'9" model who's perfectly in shape and beautiful, and she has no clue that she's beautiful and valuable to. Everyone's trying to move around the world taking advantage of someone, and then get mad when it backfires. You were on borrowed time to begin with. This country, the U.S., was built on how do I take advantage of the black population? How do I get them to build up everything? How do I get the Mexicans to build all our houses and then at will deport them? Yeah, manipulation has a shelf life. At some point, you will have to pay the bill. And so once you switch to like, how do I give value to people? How do I make their lives better? How do I improve their quality of life? How do I make them happy? How do I make them smile? How do I, calm their anxiety? The people that were encouraging me at the beginning of the stream, like when I saw the numbers pop, and I'm like, yo, I went from 0 to 7. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. So yeah, the pills all have a measure of truth. The purpose of truth is that truth is only valuable because it's rare, because it's hidden, and often you need wisdom to be able to recognize it. And so, yeah, sometimes you have to go search in areas where you may not want to hear a lot of the rhetoric. But sometimes, if there's a measure of truth in there, it's worth the investment. Not all the time, but yeah, if you really want to know something, you will ask anyone. You'll ask anyone. Shadow says we isolate to elevate. I think isolation is necessary at times. I've discovered new levels of loneliness while being overseas, and it's been highly instructive. It's changed a lot of my opinions on success and what that looks like. Where we start off wanting, "Bro, if I can just get a bag, bro, if I can just get all this money, if I don't have to work, and if I can just retire early and just move to a third world country and live off my pension from the Air Force, I'll be happy." And then you get that, and then you realize something's still missing, and then you get a girlfriend, and you realize something's still missing, and then you get two girlfriends, something's still missing, and then I'm like, what if I get a lot of drugs? That'll make me happy. I'll just change my brain chemistry, and I'll be high the entire day, the entire time. You realize that has a shelf life. At some point, your body's just going to adapt to it, and then you'll take more and more and more, and then different kinds of drugs to get that same original euphoria. Yeah, at some point you're gonna overdose. At some point you're gonna get the wrong strain. At some point you will make a mistake because we're trying to artificially create a lifestyle that is only you have to do the work. And isolation is a great way to learn that. It's not ideal. Isolation breaks the strongest of men in prison for a reason, because we're social creatures. No matter how successful I get, I will always need encouragement. I will always need affirmation. No, affirm yourself. Give yourself CPR. How? Hug yourself. It's not true. It's not true. We all need people, and the prideful are the first to learn. The people that oh no, no, I'll just do it my way. I'll figure it out. All right, a lot of pain will follow, and even I've had to learn the hard way that yeah, you need people, man. You need people. Tanya, the Karises, the Paranormals, the Sheldons, the Andrews, the everyone who's said one kind word. You don't realize the value of it, but I do. There's been people, random people in Colombia. You know, you walk past them, I just give them money. You know, I I enjoy causing butterfly effects around the world. Just you never know when you need it back. You never know when you need it back. And when people like Tanya and people like Karis and people that encourage me directly, like not indirectly, like not through a medium of YouTube or like people that overtly hit me up and say, "Yo, you helped me in this way. Thank you." Like my guy who made staff, all the people in the chat that made staff. Those are tangible. That's tangible evidence that simply talking to a camera can impact someone's life around the world. It's encouraging. It's encouraging. You need people. You need people, and you will never get where you're going without people. You didn't get where you are without people. And yeah, the more you embody that, the more you realize, yeah, I can't just numb myself with pain. When you numb the bad, you numb the good as well. It's hard to enjoy life when there's no good because everything's just numb. It's hard to enjoy life when nothing but everything that's seemingly bad that happens to you. There's no cortisol. There's no ambition. There's no chip on your shoulder. Those are all valuable things. Jalen Hurts dragging him through the mud after winning the Super Bowl got him ranked at like eighth, seventh, ninth, 10th best quarterback. Are you serious? Meanwhile, Joe Burrow, he ain't been in the playoffs since 2022. No MVPs. Josh Allen, he only beats Patrick Mahomes during the regular season. He's lost every single time in the playoffs. Joe Burrow gets credit for beating Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Joe can't beat him at all. Who beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs? Joe Burrow once years ago. Joe Burrow once 2021, and Jalen Hurts last year, and then after making the playoffs a couple years ago. But that chip on his shoulder is why he's successful. That chip. And I've noticed that with marijuana and just drugs in general, you're numbing the both. You're numbing both the good and the bad, and you realize that they're both valuable. They're both valuable, stimuli of living. You need them. And so yeah, isolation is valuable, but in small doses. And of course, I've been experiencing it for quite a bit of time for good reason. For good reason. What else we got, man? The numbers climbing back up. Appreciate y'all, man. Delayed gratification. Facts. I saw a quote on what was it, Instagram. Bro was like, he said, "All right, all y'all passport bros, what will you want to have to explain to your future spouse?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, when I was in Colombia, I was just passing out my seed to any and everyone who would ask for it." I saw a Reddit post. Bro was talking about, bro, I paid $350 in Cartagena, Colombia for herpes. I'm like, I hope it was good. I hope she did you something. I hope she took your life, bro. Because now you got to explain to every other partner why you couldn't be disciplined in the moment. And it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, delayed gratification. Yeah, just do it tomorrow. If you're gonna ruin your life, do it tomorrow. And then when tomorrow becomes today, then procrastinate again. And it's something I'm teaching myself. I'm like, Brad, you have benefited from delayed gratification almost your entire life. Don't get here now and start accepting all the gratification. My friend Karis telling me this morning, yo, you got to do something. You have to work. This idea of retirement is a scam. Not in terms of like the money piece. The money is broken. The money's broken. But the idea that you're gonna wake up on a Monday morning and do nothing, that's it. I'm telling you, it's amazing for 1 or 2 days out the week to just wake up and like, you know what? I'm not leaving the bed today. And you break out the DoorDash or Rappi or Uber Eats or Pediosa. You just order some goodies to the crib. Yeah, it's valuable in that way when it's sporadic. But if every day was the same and you're like, all right, I have 24 hours to fill. I got 24 hours to fill. It's a new level of depression that you will find. A lot of people don't know it exists because it's a symptom of a privilege. It's a symptom of a luxury to have nowhere to be, nothing to do, no one. Like, well, why are you not at work? But I'm telling you, it's not everything you thought it is, and it's hard to say that to people who have to work, who have to work. But I think everyone has to work. Everyone has to work, including myself. It's probably the primary reason I'm back on YouTube right now is because you will drive yourself nuts doing nothing all day. Literally, you will lose your mind doing nothing. The isolation is tangible. You feel it in your body. You feel it. And so, yeah, delayed gratification in terms of, all right, well, we all need rest and we all want vacations. We all want time off from stress and you stress and working, all those things. But, and of course, we're all searching for that balance, which I don't really truly believe exists. I'd rather have too much time on my hands and then work sporadically versus work constantly and rest sporadically. No. The ratio is up to you in your actions and decision making, but just to wake up and do nothing the rest of your life, good luck. And of course, a lot of people say, but test me with that, Lord. To test me with too much money, test me with too much time on my hands. Yeah, it's a luxury to be able to talk about it from this current place. But this was the goal that I thought would make me happy, and it did not make me happy. It's unfortunate. This was the goal for so many years in the Air Force. But if I could just get to a place where I don't have nowhere to be, nothing to do, no one, to be accountable to, no American bills, no. If I could just get to a place where I don't have to do anything, well, I'm here now. It's my everyday life, and it's miserable. It's miserable, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful, but it is indeed miserable. There's a reason why billionaires and millionaires and CEOs with millions of dollars in the bank millions of dollars in credit card credit, afforded to them. There's a reason why they don't just sit on their yacht and have sex all day, because it's depressing. Humans need purpose. I need purpose. And until I find a different purpose than what I'm currently doing right here, this works. This works. If I can just get one person, and of course, I've talked about this at length with Karis and various others, as far as trying to find what you want to do in life. It's much more difficult than you think it is. It's so much more difficult than you think it is to just wake up and like, I need something to do that benefits other people, that gives me leverage in the marketplace where I can get paid for something. Especially when you're overseas. I will admit I've ran out of money twice overseas where I've had to borrow money. It's humbling to realize, all right, I have cash flow issue. I have to be way more disciplined overseas than I was in the States, especially when you two ain't paying no money. Shout out to Tanya with the gift, the membership. Appreciate you. Tanya is probably my number one supporter of my YouTube to date. Probably my number one, both monetarily and in verbal support. Things of that nature. Tanya, if there were a ranking, she will be number one currently, and so I am beyond grateful to her. But yeah, it's a different world when you're overseas and like, all right, how do I get some money in my pocket? How do I build a income stream? All right, well, I already have one. It's called YouTube. I already have this. It's monetized. You have to use it though. You have to actually make the content. And so yeah, it's very eye opening. Getting what you want, getting what you've always wanted, achieving the goal, and then realizing I'm still unhappy. How is this possible? How is this possible? But it's also part of learning, and it's a privilege to learn that lesson. It's a privilege to achieve your goals, and then have the privilege of setting new goals that outshine those. Now the question is, if the current goals that I achieved didn't make me happy, what makes you think that your next set of goals are going to make you happy? There's a level of delusion in that, thinking, oh boy, if I get more, I have more than enough now, but if I get more, that'll make me happy. Why are the billionaires and the millionaires and the celebrities killing themselves? If money was the solution, well, why are people that have access to all these credit cards and debt instruments? Why are they still miserable? Why are they all on drugs? The wealthy, the poor have one thing in common: drugs. The only difference is quality. Of course, access and penalties and consequences and all these things. But yeah, you see overdoses more so in the celebrity community for a reason, because poor people use it to cope with their current financial situation. And black people use it, or not black people, but rich people use it to escape their current situation. Like, I don't want to realize that I have no one that cares about me because I have too much money, and that everyone that enters my life is looking for something. Like, how do I get them to pay my rent? You think rich men only have people around them that just value them for them? No, it's not true. It's not true. What else we got? Andrew says, "What if Fast and Furious 10 and AI Google is all to look forward to? Scary times. What if the Fast and Furious 10 and AI Google? AI is quite frightening. Quite frightening for one particular reason, in my opinion, is that the bottleneck of AI is amazing when it comes to capabilities. But when you think about what fuels AI, it's a it's a lot of energy and water, but a ton of energy, a ton of energy. Our current power grid, speaking about the US more specifically, is not built for AI. It's not built for server farms every mile or two, just consuming all this electricity. It was built in the 1900s. It was built for homes. for homes without electricity, well, not electricity, but air conditioning and all these current luxuries that we currently enjoy. The power grid is unchanged since then. It's been adapted and slightly adjusted since then, but we don't have enough energy to constantly be mining Bitcoin and running these AI, power, these server farms where people are just talking to it. Tell me a joke about this, and then build me this, and make a video about this. And this is worldwide, especially because the U.S. is the world leader in terms of these AI platforms. Well, if the world is using these apps, the world is consuming energy from the US, which means where's all that energy coming from? What I foresee the future being is that the energy shortage is not going to affect the rich, it's going to affect you. Not so much you, but the poor people, the people who have a shortage of water because, yeah, the Microsoft down the street is consuming all this water to cool their data centers. I foresee, well, if there was one movie that I think is the most accurate when it comes to the future of the United States, especially as it relates to AI, it would be Hunger Games. When you see that the elites have all the power they got robots and they got AI powered drones and AI powered dogs and AI powered robots, and chefs and masseuses, and they got sex robots in this corner, and then they got the car robots and the Teslas and the Rivians and Cybertrucks, and yeah, at some point there won't be enough energy for everyone, which means now you have an increase in price, which is going to cut out countless percentages of people that can't access the commodity of electricity because it's just too expensive. Now we have the opportunity to decentralize in the form of batteries and solar panels and all these things. But yeah, it's so inefficient. The most dense energy source is nuclear. The least dense is solar. Well, yeah, a lot of people have access to it, but yeah, the sun's everywhere. But is it? Because it's cloudy in Syracuse. Trust me. One of the most depressing cities in the world is Syracuse, New York. It's just always overcast. The UK is always overcast. Florida, plenty of sun. Texas, plenty of sun. Which means if you move there, there's still going to be a price increase because of the inflation amount of people, the inflated amount of people. So what we're going to see is an increase in cost of energy. Hence why Trump is started digging for oil again. You've seen all these other countries, their infrastructure is crumbling because the populations are increasing because of immigration, but there's no infrastructure adaptation. So it's and I'm sure a lot of people are already experiencing their power bills going up just because of the climate shift, and it seems like the magnetic poles are shifting. All these different conspiracies about why we're getting floods everywhere, fires everywhere, hurricanes everywhere. The number one impact is going to be energy. Bitcoin requires a lot of energy. Proof of work cryptography is running a ton of hash functions by these huge GPUs. Energy. It requires energy. You can't run it on solar. Grok is powered by a ton of diesel generators and batteries and power. And a lot of companies are trying to go nuclear, but it takes years to build nuclear infrastructure. Years. They have the smaller modular ones and like, oh, we have our little mini nuclear reactors, you know. And there's always proof of concept. There's already proof of concept. Nuclear subs, they run year round. They're in somebody's ocean right now. You don't know where they are in the world, but they get free energy. Nuclear, it works already. But how do we? Of course, we have a couple spills, and I think Russia had a little issue with nuclear, and then you know, nuclear fallout, debris, and nuclear waste. And now impacting water supplies, all these things. Yeah, it's complex, but in terms of the effect, yeah, it's going to be energy. It's going to be energy. And so while we currently enjoy a lot of luxuries as far as, all right, write my paper and this time make it more human-like. And then at one point I was posting AI videos every single day. I believe I got three video creations on Google Veo per day. And yeah, I was just posting those on TikTok. I'm like, all right, let me just do something. Let me try something. And yeah, it's so energy intensive. Tanya, I swear on everything I love, man. Thank you, Tanya. That's so kind. That's crazy. You ever see like other people get members like 50 gifted subs, all these things? Well, on today's date, Tanya show love. Thank you. That's so kind. And by the way, I see everybody else's comments, but I'm not skipping anything. I'm not skipping anything. So, but thank you, Tanya. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. What was I talking about? Energy. Energy. So yeah, at some point, we'll start feeling the effects, if not already. People that live downstream of these data centers, they're already experiencing water shortage and water pressure loss and all these different things. Um, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. The only advantages that we have is that we know about it. We know about it. So plan accordingly. How do you do that? Decentralize your life. Decentralize your life. How do you do that? Uh, get your passport. Get your passport, get some Bitcoin, learn what a cold wallet is, learn what a hot wallet is, understand Bitcoin, understand cryptocurrency, understand why Bitcoin is different than all the other different cryptocurrencies, why it's the number one cryptocurrency, why it was the first. Read the white paper, learn what a white paper is, learn how to read a white paper. There's so many steps in terms of living a decentral lifestyle. A lot of people think, "Oh, I'm just gonna move to a farm and I'm just gonna grab some solar panels and I'm just gonna live off the land." And I'm like, it's much more complex than you think it is. A solar panel has to be cooled. It has to have direct sunlight. It has to have constant sunlight, and even during cloudy days, you'll still get power. Reception. But you can't live off of it. You can't run no AC off of trickles of. I'm getting 50 watts of power. You're not powering nothing. Barely a fan. Take you two days to charge your phone off 50 watts, especially if there's power loss. There's lossage when it comes to converting DC to AC and all these. It's so much. It's so much. So yeah, there will be tangible and literal effects of AI that a lot of people can't foresee. And honestly, the moat to getting more power is prohibitive. Like it's difficult to get more power. It's easy to save power. You got to buy batteries, and batteries are expensive. Batteries are expensive. So um, I've seen this kind of afar off, and it's not like I'm more prepared than anyone else. I just kind of know. You just kind of see it, and you realize, this is going to be interesting. And there are other countries that have no effects of AI outside of maybe their jobs being outsourced to AI. Um, but yeah, the power is already hitting people. Germany power infrastructure. All right, all right. People want to live all green and like I'm one with nature. If all the solar panels in the US and all the batteries in the US were combined in one central location to power the country, the US could run for about 8 minutes. About 8 minutes. Whose phone is being charged first? Whose devices? Whose house is getting air conditioning? Who's getting heat during the winter? A lot of people will be reverting back to sticks and stones and friction. It takes some. I mean, currently the market is oversaturated with solar panels. Like they're pretty cheap to get. There's a huge used market of solar panels, but then you still need batteries. You still need cooling. You need copper, a ton of copper. Who do you think is getting priority on copper in today's world? Tesla, Rivia. The government subsidized companies are getting first dibs on all the copper and minerals. Why do you think Trump made that deal with the Ukraine? Because they got all these natural minerals. Why do you think Trump wants Greenland, Canada, natural resources? What does Canada have? Hydropower. That's what New York City is powered off of. So yeah, this world, everything is ran by energy. The entire world, everything is energy, down to our atoms. Everything is the mitochondria in our cells. Energy. My success is based on how much energy I have in the day. Everything's energy. So when you start studying energy, you'll run into Bitcoin at some point because you realize, oh, Bitcoin is the conservation of energy, and on the internet, there's no loss. Whereas the dollar is losing energy every single day, which means you're losing energy because you're working for dollars using your time. That's a very inefficient exchange. Anyway, moving on from that. That was a fun little tangent. All right, what else we got? Wait, so that was Tanya gave 20, so that's 70. Tanya, I swear on everything I love. Thank you. That's crazy. What are your thoughts on lift women? I'm not sure what I mean. What are your thoughts on lift women? I don't know what that means, Shouter. If you can re-ask that question. That's real as fuck. Yo, I'm telling you, it's dangerous out here, man. Dangerous out here. There's no shortage of information. There's a shortage of courage. The whole thing. We don't understand how our existence affects others. I think we do. I just don't. I don't think we care. We don't care, which is why the money needs to be fixed. Because some people are. When I tell you, I've met so many engineers in Colombia that are run circles around me in terms of intelligence, in terms of applied sciences and mathematics and physics, but their money is broken. That's the only reason why I'm richer than them, more wealthy than them, is that I was born in a country that pays me in dollars, and because we won every single war in the 20th century, and we made the U.S. dollar the world reserve currency, and now all oil is priced in dollars instead of Colombian pesos or the Dominican pesos or yen. That's why I have an advantage financially. But that had nothing to do with me. I was just born. I won the lottery to be born in America after slavery, mind you, after slavery, which of course we're grateful. But yeah, I truly believe we don't care how our existence affects others. Think about how many chickens have been murdered in cold blood so you can get a 20 piece from Wingstop. Assuming it's a chicken to begin with. That's a whole tangent. But our effects on the environment. If you ask me, like right now, my air conditioning is running right now. You think I care about the people who are hot or the animals that are being affected or the energy that's being used because I'm running air conditioning 24/7? I like my air conditioner. And if you ask me right now, Ray, be honest, would you sacrifice your air conditioning so someone else could get a couple hours of air conditioning? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a very giving person, but if you ask me to sacrifice, I'm like, Ray, a couple of nights a week, I need you to sleep without air conditioning, so somebody across town can sleep with air conditioning. Or you can pay $10 and keep your air conditioning. I'm paying $10 without hesitation. It's selfish. It's selfish. Is it wrong? Is it right? I don't know. But what I do know is that if someone else was asked, Ray is getting 24 hours of air conditioning over here. Would you like him to like sacrifice some of that so you can get some air conditioning? Of course they would say yes. It's the same thing we said we do to billionaires. Like they should be paying way more taxes so I can do this, and this. The question is, would you sacrifice your billions so other people can have a higher quality of life? It's a dangerous question. Sheldon asks, "What's your team, NFL, NBA?" So officially on Twitter or X, I posted a while back that I'm a Dolphins fan. I was living in Florida at the time, and Tua's brittle. Um, yeah, the Dolphins. As much as I love Mike McDaniel and all his quirks and his amazing mind and drawing up plays and all these things, they don't win in the cold ever. They got mopped by Kansas City. What was it last year in the playoffs? They live in Miami. They don't win in the cold. You have to win in the cold to get through the AFC. I mean, if you're trying to get through Baltimore, you're trying to get through Cincinnati, you're trying to get through Buffalo, Kansas City, you better pray you play in the Rams. It's unfortunate. The Texans, or So yeah, Dolphins probably. I'll claim them for now, just because I think that tweet's still up. So I think until I take it down, I'll stand by the Dolphins. But my favorite teams to watch probably would be the better quarterbacks, definitely. Lamar is dope, is amazing to watch. Josh Allen, dude is amazing. Just imagine, you got to get through Patrick Mahomes every year, man. You got to get through Patty Mahomo. You gotta get through my guy. Who else I like watching? Patrick Mahomes is dope. I love watching completions. I love watching pass completions. I'm not interested in watching, whoever's playing for the Saints, whoever's starting for the Saints, going 10 for 30. Ugh. And I definitely don't want to see nobody pound the ball. I don't want to watch running backs dominate a game with 3 yards, 5 yards, first down conversion, 2 yards, -3 yards. I don't want to watch that. No. So, um, I watch a lot of AFSC if I do watch games. Usually when I watch games, it's because I didn't do anything all day. I'm like, I need to go live, go do something. So I'll go watch some NFL. I'm definitely excited about the season. I won't be watching all the games. Um, it usually wears off after the first couple weeks. I'm like, all right, it's just football. But yeah, the anticipation of the NFL season is quite enjoyable. It's all the rhetoric and what have you. NBA. I definitely don't watch NBA games. It's too much. But my favorite team since I was a youngin was the Lakers. LeBron has currently, I mean, Bronny can't even guard me. Like, hear me, Bronny cannot guard me, but yet he plays for my favorite team. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Um, my favorite players to watch in the NBA: Russ, Giannis, um, angry players, angry players. Like Kyrie's dope. I can't watch Steph because Steph reminds me of myself too much. It makes me jealous. I'm like, bro, I can shoot too, bro. Like, Steph ain't the only person that can just throw buckets up. But I get buckets on everything I love. You understand? So watching Steph literally makes me jealous. Um, Watching Jalen Hurts makes me kind of jealous. I'm like, nigga, I can do that, bro. But that's arrogance for you. Um, Russ and Giannis probably my two favorites to watch. Like people that will go get them a bag. You try to stop them. They have a motor that doesn't stop. You can't psych Russ out just because he missed, 2 shots in a row, 3 shots in a row, 5 shots in a row. Russ is going to shoot. Giannis is going to the rack. He's going to the rack. Joker's amazing to watch. Segun on the Rockets, passing big men, beautiful to watch. Beautiful basketball. Um, I'm trying to think the different conferences. Ant Man, amazing dunks, but other than that, I'm not trying to watch nobody shoot mid range. I don't want to watch OKC at all. Like mid range and no, no. The Clippers should be interesting to watch just with James Harden and Kawhi now. If Kawhi can stay healthy, which no, he's not. But yeah, so sports in general are interesting. I've watched a lot more football since being overseas. I still don't watch it. Football, like the soccer equivalent, gives me anxiety watching. Like the way they pressure the ball and like there's no space, you can't dribble, there's no elegance to the game. I mean, there is elegance, but only in slow motion. Like watching real time football and then you're watching for 3 hours just for the game to end 0-0, 0-0. You just wasted my time. Man. So no. The highlights are amazing. Baseball, I love watching pitching. The physics of the game are that's one thing baseball and soccer have in common that I enjoy is the physics of the ball itself. You see that ball curve? I believe it's called centrifugal. force, something like that. A beautiful curveball, a junk ball, beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch. So I tend to stick to highlights when it comes to those type of sports. Highlights in general, because I don't got I do have all day, but I still prefer not to just watch people throw incomplete passes. So what else we got? Andrew says, kind of stupid nowadays to celebrate birthdays. I don't know. Current culture, celebration overload. My birthday is next month, you understand, on the 9th. And so I'll wait till after the 9th to agree with you. But I'm inclined to agree that if anything, we're just aging ourselves unnecessarily. Well, my birthday is next month. I'll be another year older. And so that means I have to do all these things. And this is going to happen to me. And I'll be out of shape now and I'll be more tired. I'm like, it's not true. It's all in your mind. Um, but there's a part of me that thinks it should be celebrated because we only get one day a year to celebrate ourselves. Like, yeah, take it, take it. It's one day that gets to be about you, or a couple hours of that day that gets to be just about you. So yeah, I don't see anything inherently wrong with it. But I mean, how old are we really with all the calendar lies and the Gregorian calendar and the Aztecs and sundials? It's too much. It's too much. So. Kevin asks, what are your thoughts on our low birth rate and is porn addiction one of those causes? I don't think it's a cause. I think it's a correlation to birth rate. The birth rate, I would argue, is due to simply the cost of having a child. People are still having children, but it's mainly the poor people. The poor and the rich have the most children. It's the middle class that are supposed to, like, we're the backbone of the economy, supposedly. If we can't afford to have children, and the poor people can't afford to have children, and the wealthy can, but no, they really don't have that much incentive to have children. No matter how many children they have, it doesn't really affect them. But why would you have 10 children? You can have two and just call it a day. So yeah, birth rate is gonna be affected by many things, down to obviously inflation, like the cost of having children, the health care, where you get a bill for $150,000 if you have any complications. If you have a pregnancy with no complications, they go get you, especially if you got no insurance. Insurance itself is a scam. You see that with all the houses burning down, all the floods, and you try to get your policy paid out, and they're like, bruh, we ain't paying you for that. You got to sue us. Especially with public companies, like their bottom line is EPS, earnings per share. Excuse me. They try and get their people paid. So no. There are many things that affect the birth rate. I mean, you see it happening globally, everywhere except for like India and I mean China's being affected. Um, Porn addiction is just affecting men, which causing men to not approach women because they have porn brain and because their ambition and their energy, again, everything's energy, semen retention when it comes to, there's a reason why porn is unlimited. Yeah, because the product is the consumer. That's why there's ads everywhere. That's why they trying to catch you lacking. They're trying to introduce you to all this random stuff and OnlyFans distractions. Yeah, testosterone is a utility for men. It's a tool. It's an energy source, and it can be used for anything. But of course, and again, I'm saying we, because yeah, I was introduced to it at an early age by my cousins in California, and yeah, it does take it. There's a tangible loss that you will experience by constantly ejaculating to pixels on a screen, watching another man get paid to have sex with a woman that he doesn't know. And somehow we apply value to that in terms of, okay, if I can just watch him have sex and then watch her have sex and then watch them have sex and then watch all this group of people, yeah, of course it's designed to hurt you because nothing that you're watching on that screen resembles real life. And so the birth rate itself, there are a myriad of factors that go into that. I would argue it's just inflation. It's the main culprit. One would throw feminism in there, the devaluing of men and our role in society, the devaluing of women, and just applying the sex object label to a whole like entire half of the population of the world, of course the consequences are going to be astronomical. And we're just barely in the beginning of the consequences of the internet and internet porn and how it's pervasive. You got kids on this stuff. You got TikTok, TikTok brain rot. Throw some porn on there. Throw on some OnlyFans on there. Throw on there. Yeah, the kids are stupid now. It's unfortunate. Which is another issue. Like you see other people's kids, I'm like, why would I want your kids around my son? So now homeschooling's a thing, but first we gotta get over the gender war. It's just it's when you start at the beginning, I would argue you go back to 1971, but even before then, because you got the Jim Crow laws and there's so much that goes into how do we get here in 2025. Well, let's go all the way back to 1776. But then we actually had to start before then and look at the lies that we've been told. Oh, all these Africans were brought over on boats as slaves, being treated as slaves on unmodern ancient ships. Like there was no air conditioning on these ships. There was no quality food sources and nutrition and vitamin D on these ships. And we brought slaves over here that are just going to be healthy and all right, we brought y'all here, get to work. How many people do you think will actually survive that trip? You're talking about weeks on the ocean, weeks and months traveling in the hottest places on earth, in the bowels of a ship, being starved because why would they give the slaves the best food, the best nutritious food and water? Where the fresh water come from? You telling me these people were in the bowels of ships, sweating, packed in like sardines, and these people with no nutritious food, no clean, fresh water. You can't drink salt water. You cannot drink salt water. So, and y'all brought thousands of these Africans over on boats. And then once they arrived to the hottest region of North America, they just got to work. Mind you, no sunscreen, no sunscreen for us. Um, not that we need it. Of course, we have melanin. Um, we were already here. The African slave trade was a lie. Was a lie. I'm sure people were brought here, but the entire population of slaves were not brought here to be slaves. Mind you, they're being treated as slaves while on the boat. Like it's not like they were treated humanely all the way here to the shores of America, and then all of a sudden now you're slaves. No, it started well before. So what we're witnessing is a genocide happening over the course of America. People are already here. We were already here. That's why we don't have to wear sunscreen. That's why we can sit in the sun and we don't burn. It's because this is our indigenous climate. If someone was gifted a casino, why would they be gifted a casino on their own land? In my mind, that sounds like a bribe. Sounds like a bribe. There's so much that goes into the history of America to believe that all these murders that came over from the UK and the surrounding regions, the murderers and the thieves and the rapists, they don't lie. History. I mean, these people. We don't believe the news, but we believe historians. That doesn't make sense to me. Of course, the people that were first here were kind, and yes, they were murdering people, and yes, they were taking people's land, and yes, they were, raping their women and killing their children, what have you. But when they sat down, when they got done with all that, when they sat down to write history, they told the truth. It's not true. It's not probable. There's a reason why public schools are non-negotiable. Yes, you can homeschool. Yes, you can go to private schools, but there's a reason why you cannot just not go to school because they want you to know what they want you to know about history. And until you get away from it long enough, and until you start questioning just the basic tenets, I'm like, so you said we all came here over a boat. There's no fresh water to drink, and we just somehow survived weeks without water when you can't go 3 days without water. You tell me that our food was nutritious, but we were slaves at the same time? When no, no. So it's a whole thing. But history, history, History. Mm-mm. The study of lies that most people agree upon. It's the study of lies. And the fact that people think that it's accurate at all, you're misguided. But believe what you want. Believe what you want. Moving on. Tanya, I'm gonna ban you from giving stuff. I I, I will block you. You've done plenty. Thank you so much. You never thought I would have to tell somebody to stop. Tanya, you gonna make me have to. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you. It's very rare that you have to critique someone's kindness of you. Speaking of memberships, if you want access to all my content, all my old content, all my Air Force content, um, if you so choose, that's available. I knocked the price all the way down. I think it's like $1.99 now. So if you want access to that, it's pretty cheap and accessible at this point now. So that's available. I believe there's a link in the description if you want to sign up for that. Um, oh, the lady that tried to sue Lyft. I don't. Did I hear about that? Who tried to sue Lyft? Was it the overweight lady that couldn't fit in the car? Um, I believe so. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, some people don't have a rational mind. And you can't exactly blame them. You got to blame their parents or who knows their upbringing. Yes, some people aren't rational, and you're not gonna change that. Like uh, you have to have Amazon workers. This world needs McDonald's workers. This world needs people who aren't clued in to there's better options. The results of being rational are lost on the foolish for a reason. Like you have to be self-aware to realize you're wrong. You have to be humble to realize you need to ask a question. And so a lot of the fruits of the spirit are prohibitive when it comes to increasing your quality of life. Because before you can ask for wisdom, before you can know to study wisdom, you need humility and self-awareness to realize I'm not in a place I want to be. And I can see that they seem to be in a place that is better than mine. You have to have those type of traits to realize there's a better option available. And some people will never wake up to the fact that their life can be better, can be improved. I don't have to be overweight. I don't have to be sickly and tired all the time. And it took people telling me, Ray, you need to go do something different. No matter how much wisdom I study, I still have blind spots where I have to realize, there are better options for me. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to be lonely, Ray. You can go back to America. You can fly people to you. You have options. We sometimes just don't like the options. And so to tell somebody, hey, you need to be humble and realize there's a better option, there's a better lifestyle available for you. Some people it will never click for them like that. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Some people plant seeds and sometimes they'll take them years to realize, oh, somebody told me that years ago. I didn't want to hear it. And then they wake up one day and then so yeah, it's unfortunate that some people will live a life of misery. Yeah, I work 80 hours a day, and I never get a day off, and I have 4 kids by 3 different dads, and yeah, there's better options available, but it takes humility and self awareness to even begin a journey of studying wisdom and decision making, and how do I improve my life. And thankfully, some of us had parents that taught us. It's unfortunate some people didn't have that. I had a father in my life, so he taught me consequences with a belt. He taught me that. So we're like, yeah, you hit your sister, I'm going to hit you. You go out in public and you hit somebody else, the cops will hit you. Like he taught me consequences. And so it's better to learn about consequences than to experience consequences because sometimes cops don't know when to stop. Sometimes, and you notice this with cops often is that like they're men, they're human, they have pride, they have arrogance too. If you try to embarrass a man and he on cam and you talking crazy to Brad, and then he pull out his taser and he start whooping your ass. Yeah, sometimes the devil is innocent. Sometimes we do it to ourselves. What else we got, man? Hello says you lost weight. Looked for your channel recently and couldn't find it. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you. I have lost a couple of pounds, what have you. Trying to do better. Trying to do better with myself. I still have room to improve a ton because Little Caesars has me in a headlock. You understand? Um, but yeah, I took my channel down um, some months. What? Well, yeah, some weeks ago, months ago. Um, I had an epiphany about privacy and like the how fame is abused and like I'm nowhere near viral. A couple people know who I am as far as YouTube is concerned, but you just kind of lose perspective. And at the time, I just didn't want no content out there, like especially the content I had out there. As far as relationships and red pill and a lot of my angered opinions and bitter opinions I was putting out. Yeah, it was just coming from a place of hurt. It was coming from a place of bitterness. And once you heal and you go back and you listen to that stuff, I'm like, bruh, why? What was I on, bruh? Like, why was I tripping? Like, so yeah, growth happens, and then people like Tanya and Karis, and like you have people that are placed in your life, strangers, never met Tanya, never met Karis in person, and yet they encourage me, and they have tangible, ways of benefiting me by just encouragement. And for me, with my number one love language, or my primary love language being words of affirmation, and of course, physical touch. We value all of them, but yeah, I value words of affirmation. And sometimes we all need a reminder. Yeah, people value you. People care about you. And so to hear that you were even looking for my channel, appreciate you. That's definitely encouraging. Just to know that people actually look for me when I disappear. Um, People care. People care. And yeah, you're all strangers. I'm talking to a camera. I'm talking to myself. I'm looking at myself in the eye. So it's not exactly apples and oranges. It's older, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And hopefully my channel stays up, indefinitely because I don't plan on taking it down for the foreseeable future. And so yeah, hopefully we can get some better content, some more content up that is impactful in terms of wisdom and things of that ilk. Speaking of wisdom, Sheldon talking about, I don't know if I might cook you. Bro, that's improbable. That's improbable. It's not likely. Especially if I get ball first. It's a wrap, man. He can't guard me. We're the same size. He can't guard me. He's too young, too little. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing. Tanya has thoroughly blessed me. Thank you. Um, and lastly, I think should be the last one. Not to go down the rabbit hole. What's your thoughts on Jamestown, Rosewood, and all the white communities where only whites are allowed? I saw sprinkles of this on my timeline or on my For You page on TikTok, and I always go past it quickly because, first of all, it angers me. Not for the reasons you might think, but in my mind, if you want to start your own town, go start your own town. It's like the people that say, I'm leaving TikTok. I'm taking down my Instagram because I'm just moving on. I spent too much time on here and my stuff is not growing, so I'm leaving. Just leave. Just leave. When I took my channel down, I didn't tell nobody. When I left the country, I didn't tell anyone. If you're going to leave, just leave. I don't have any issue with people having their own towns. I'm like, but get rid of all the black stuff. Like, and of course, black fatigue is a thing. Like, if you ask me, Ray, do you want to live in the ghetto? You want to move to Chicago, Ray? You want to move to Atlanta? You want to go to New York City and live in the Bronx? Or no, no. I love my people. I don't want to live around them. No. The DMV was amazing. Living around civilized black folks. Love that. Love it. Miss it. I miss it. Black professionals. I miss living around black professionals. I love it. But I don't want to live in a ghetto at all. So I'm not here to blame white people for not wanting to live where I don't want to live either. I'm not a hypocrite in that way. But yeah, if you have the need to tell us that you're leaving, for what? For what? It's kind of like black men talking about, oh, I don't date black women anymore. Black women talking about, I don't date black women. Leave. If black men don't want to date black women, go. Black women don't want to date black men, go. Go. No one cares. I don't care. So, yeah, hey, everyone gets tired. Everyone has a measure of, dare I say, racism in their blood. Or like, I don't like how the UK cooks their food unseasoned and it, beans on toast. It's not exactly racist. It's a cultural difference. It's a cultural difference. One thing I've had to come to terms with is that everyone's not going to like me, probably because I don't like everyone else. I don't like everyone I meet. I'm not supposed to. Neither are you. And it's realistic to think that some people just don't want to be around folk that shoot up schools. Loud music, black people play loud music constantly. They pull up and they got 12s in the back, subwoofers going crazy, blasting Gunna or Young Thug or NBA Young Boy. No, I don't want to hear that at 6 a.m. while you headed to the factory. Then I moved to South America and realized they play salsa at 5 a.m. First thing in the morning, the first thing I hear when I wake up in Medellin, Colombia, Cartagena, Colombia, Santa Marta, Colombia, is salsa. And then you realize, oh, it's a melanin thing. It's not a black people blast their music too much. No, the guys in the Ram trucks with the extended mirrors blasting their country music. Everyone blasts their music. And some people are just too close. Some people are just so closed off from the rest of the world for good reason. Some people just never leave their country. And they realize, yeah, this is not a black thing. This is not a white thing. There's ghettos everywhere. There are ghettos everywhere. They have different names. But if you go to Colombia, if you cross a bridge in Medellin, there's one bridge. If you cross that bridge, you're gonna notice it's a different world. Same country, same city, but it's a different economic level. And with different economic levels comes different issues, different, things you may or may like or dislike. You're not gonna escape it. As long as you want to be around people, you're not gonna escape the problems that come with other people because people are different. And so I've learned to be more empathetic towards my own people. My own people. I'm like, yeah, we blast music, and I don't want to hear that 6 a.m. But when I left the country and realized they blast music over here too, I'm like, oh, it's not just black folk. They dance over here too. They dance all night. They dance on Tuesdays. Just random days in the week. There'll be parades and parties and different holidays. It's different. And I catch myself getting angered by like, why y'all making all this noise, man? I'm like, nigga, you in their country, bruh. You come to America, they blasting music. They blasting country music. They blasting hip hop. If you go to church, they blast like you gonna hear the organ outside the building. So I'm sure the neighbors across the street from the church in the local neighborhood. I'm like, why every Sunday from 11 a.m. and probably earlier because you got 8 a.m. service and you got prayer and then you got Sunday school. From 8 a.m., it's just noise and drums and organs and pianos and trumpets and people yelling and dancing. And then the parking lot's overflowing because people parked on the street and then they got barbecues at the church and they're selling fish dinners out the back. And then they playing basketball and racing up and down the street. It's cultural. It's cultural. And if you go to South America, you realize they got their own tendencies that are just cultural. And so, yeah, of course, it's a luxury to understand a lot of these things, having traveled somewhat, just enough. You realize, yeah, it's different. It's different. It's meant to be appreciated. And then if you don't like it, go somewhere else. You got a passport, go somewhere else. Especially if you live in America, you got one of the strongest passports. Go somewhere else. And then you'll start appreciating America. You go to India and you realize, all right, I just want a sandwich from a street vendor. And then you see them prepare it. And they stick their foot in there a little bit and some flies bless it and then a rat jumps in and out and almost drowns and the cat dips their toe in it and some dust kind of drifts into it. Maybe America wasn't so bad, but sometimes people just don't have perspective, which is unfortunate. But I'm gonna end it there. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Good lord, man. Once again, I'll end with this. I just want to say thank you, Tanya. Um, Thank you, Sheldon. The line of questions and the way you added to this, the way you got me going with questions. I'm truly grateful. I've done that myself before, and it's not like it's not boring. Like it's not. a huge chore that I ask people questions, but you know somebody who's sitting there watching you. And I've been on here for 2 hours, almost 3 hours, and you've been asking me questions and questions. You just keep me going. Um, I see your heart in that, and so I'm truly grateful. Everyone else who popped in, Andrew was in here. Oh my god, name and names now. Ant Knight was in here. Who else was in here, man? Karis showed love. Tony, Paranormal was in here. Maximilian. I don't want to miss nobody, but TJ, yeah, thank you to everyone who took any amount of time to just pull up and say what's good. Um, the encouragement, the kind words, Tanya donating. Thank you, thank you. It's truly appreciated, and honestly, I'm humbled because, and I'll end with this. I'll end with this. I was truly expecting to come on here and talk for 10 minutes to no one. I was mentally prepared to talk to no one for 10 to 20 minutes, and so 3 hours in, and you know, I think at one point we had like 10, 12 people watching. Thank you. So appreciate y'all. I'm not gonna promise I'll be back tomorrow, but I probably will. Who knows? Who knows? But um, yeah, my DMs are open. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to talk about, you want to hop on a video chat. I'm not charging nothing. I'm not charging nothing. If you got questions about the Air Force joining, if you got wisdom questions, if you got an idea, you just want somebody to pick it apart and find how this won't work because this and this. If you want to talk about Bitcoin, hit me up. Hit me up. If you want links about Bitcoin and like interviews to watch, hit me up. All my links should be in the description. If you want to become a channel member and check out my old Air Force content, old vlogs, all that's for members only. So, yeah, thanks again. Andrew's deleting DoorDash as you should, man. As you should. Slave Talk was a major gem. Hey, history. I'm telling you, it's a study of lives, bro. Study of lives. All right, end it there. End it there. But I'll see y'all hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. But thanks again. I'll see y'all later.